Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Uncertainty, self-doubt, stressing about not knowing where to start. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Word art. Sorry, live, laugh, lovers. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week in Cedar City, Utah, after the discovery of a horribly mutilated person and a killer covered in blood yelling about Satan and begging for death, the whole thing somehow gets even more strange. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us this week again. We are excited. Our kind of post-holidays, well, pre-New Year's, but
we're still in it, James.
We're still in
the
it.
Thick of things.
You still have lights on your truck, so that's good. I do. Still have Christmas lights dangling. That's good. So we're very excited to get into this. Thank you for everything this week. Thank you for your reviews. Just to let you know, if you listen on Spotify, you can review on Spotify now. Yeah. So get on there, do it, give us 5 stars. It helps the show. We don't understand why. It's their algorithm, not ours. It helps drive you up the charts. Help us out a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now for tickets to live shows all throughout 2022. Tons of live shows lined up. Get those now. A lot of them pretty close to sold out because they've been, they were for sale 2 years ago and then suspended and rescheduled and all that good stuff. So get your tickets right now. Don't hesitate. Also, patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of your good stuff, all of your extras, all the bonus episodes. Anybody $5 or above, you get access to everything we do bonus-wise. There's a huge back catalog, over 100 episodes, and we release 2 episodes every 2 weeks, 1 crime and sports, 1 small-town murder. You're going to get it all of it, and we promise they are hilarious. Next week, we're going to do 2 bonus episodes, and they're exciting. I'll announce what they are next week, but they are very, very fun, and they're going to be wild stuff. So do that. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Plus, you're going to get a shout-out. Jimmie is going to mess up your name at the end of the show, especially if it's Italian. Watch out. It's going to be a disaster. And do that. And you can get your shout-out as well on using PayPal, using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Once again, he'll screw up your Italian name, or most ethnicities, but Italian especially he's got a problem with. Yeah. And speaking of that, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for all of your condolences about Italian Grandma.
Sweet.
The outpouring, it was amazing, honestly, and it really, not just for me, my family, everybody saw that. Yeah. There's people that in my family that follow the show and everything, and they shared it with everybody, and everybody was just blown away by it, that she had that much impact, that people liked her, and it was great. Thank you. You made our family feel very nice at a hard time, so thank you very much for doing that.
Terrible time.
We really do appreciate that. That said, here comes the disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a comedy show. This is definitely a comedy show. That said, that doesn't mean the stories are comedy. The stories are horrible and 100% absolutely true. They are not, no embellishments, nothing for comic effect or anything like that. These stories are absolutely true, and I must say, pretty well researched. So we're not going to make anything up. We are comedians, but we know where the funny stuff is. And it's not, there's nothing funny about someone's head being cut off. That's not funny. There's a lot of funny stuff that goes on around it, though. There's a police force that'll just let somebody walk free for a few years. I don't think it's Bill. I just don't think it's him. I don't know. Just let him go, even though he's killing more people. We make fun of murderers who do crazy things and think that they can get away with it. We'll do all of that. What we won't do, though, what we never do, we never make fun of the victim or the victim's family, because
why, James?
We're assholes,
but
we're not scumbags.
You have got it.
That's how it works right there. So if that sounds good to you, oh boy, do we have a wild show in store for you. If you think true crime and comedy never go together, you still might like the show, but if you don't, no complaining afterwards. You've been warned.
Hit the road, Jack!
Hit the road. That said, I think it's time to sit back, clear the lungs, Jimmie. Let's clear them out and shout, "Shut up and give me murder." Let's do this, Jimmie.
All right.
Let's go on a trip, shall we? All right. We are coming from Louisiana last week. Oh, boy, to Cedar City, Utah this week. Going all the way there. Oh, yeah. Never been to Cedar City, Utah, huh? Well, it seems like a lot of snow, from what I understand, and some mountains and stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's in southern Utah here. It's about 250 miles south of Salt Lake City, so about 3 hours and 40 minutes up to Salt Lake. So
I may have been.
It's down there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's down in that area here. About 3 hours to Provo, Utah. Okay. And let's see here, about 3 hours and 40 minutes, because it's right by Salt Lake City, to Holiday, Utah, which was our last Utah episode.
Wow.
Which was all the way back, episode 189. Way back. It's been a while. Sorry about that, Utah. The Lego murders, where they linked it together because the guy brought his kid to the murders. And the kid was like, "Here, take your Legos. We're going to kill somebody." It was a crazy ass case, man.
Sit down here, build this Starship Enterprise.
Do that. I'm going to go butcher a woman. See ya. And he'd just take off.
That'll keep him occupied. It's a genius idea.
I mean, something. You got to bring toys, I guess. So, who brought his kid on the murders? That was wild. This is in Iron County, Utah. Iron County. Area code 435. The motto of this place, and it's fitting because they have a million of these, quote, Festival City, USA.
Oh, I can't wait.
So many festivals. Or... there's fine print that they don't put. I read the fine print, so this is the whole motto if you read the fine print completely. Okay. Festival City, USA. No alcohol, drugs, sex, dancing, short skirts, or fun allowed. So you got to put the fine print's important, is what I'm saying. Very, very important.
Yeah. That's pretty good, James.
Thank you. So the history of this town began in about 1851. About 35 dudes showed up to establish an ironworks.
Okay.
That is some 1851 rugged, manly shit. We're going to go put an ironworks.
Digging and,
in the middle of nowhere. They were organized and traveled in 2 militia companies, a foot company and a cavalry company. And the actual settlement site was on the north bank of Coal Creek. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
So fun.
Yeah, no shit. The ironworks apparently didn't last very long because by the late 1850s, it was kind of dead.
They killed each other.
I think they probably just killed each other, beat each other's wives, and someone's son avenged somebody else, and that was that.
I'm
the whole
there's
thing.
An amazing story of mass carnage.
There has to be. All 35 men perished in the blaze.
There's a bunch of bad dudes.
And for that, we have a festival now. Yeah.
We celebrate them.
We celebrate them. After that, it became more of a farming town. Here, so more agriculture
softer
and
people.
Get a little softer, Not
much softer.
No, farming is out in the sun.
Just
That's rough.
enough to survive.
That's rough stuff. The iron mining continued, though. They had an iron mine there all the way through World War II, and kind of didn't peter out really till the 1980s.
Is that right?
So, yeah, it was going strong. There was a lot of once the railroad came through. Then this became a tourist area. They called it the gateway to the parks because I guess if you followed the route from the east on the railroad and went up, it would go to a bunch of different national parks you go through. So
Utah does have some really beautiful scenery.
Oh, my God. When you drive through Utah, you're like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, majestic.
I really hope that this tank of gas lasts till we're out of the state because thankfully, I don't want to stop, but the windows are clean and it's beautiful to look out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of tourism here.
Yeah.
There's still some agriculture. Some Southern Utah University is here. It's about 7,000 people there, so that's going to drive the age of the people here down, obviously. There was I guess there was prehistoric people here.
I believe it.
So they have rock art where they found of people's ancient art
and hieroglyphs. Or
exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say next here. These date back from 1000 AD to 1300. Awesome. So they have there. Also, Iron County, this is a good quote, Iron County is the site of Utah's most horrific tragedy. Okay.
Tell me more.
Let's discuss, shall we? When Mormon militiamen murdered men, women, and children at Mountain Meadows. Apparently, 120 members of the Baker-Fancher wagon train, made up of families mostly from Arkansas and headed to California, were slaughtered. The Mormon militia, dressed as Native Americans, convinced members of the Paiute tribe, if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry, I looked it up, Paiute tribe nation, to join them so they could make the attack seem like it was due to tribal hostilities, make it look like, that way they can go, oh, the natives attacked our people and now we have to retaliate, and then not against the Mormons, though, against them.
That is fucked up.
Only apparently 17 children under the age of 7 were spared. Everybody else was slaughtered here. So, reviews of this town after that horrible. I love the first one because it's such a contrast, too. 5 stars. I love Cedar City. I guess you weren't passing through from Arkansas, were you? Not passing through from Arkansas. I come from a small town where it is peaceful and charming, but it is far away from everything. I had to drive 40 minutes to the nearest Walmart. Cedar City is not as peaceful as my old town, but has all the charm, if not more, and is central. It has almost everything I could possibly want or need within walking distance or very short car ride. This city clearly has a history, too, and is proud of it.
Don't be proud of that.
Don't be proud of other things. Hopefully not that part. That's the last thing we said, so it makes it sound
they certainly
wow.
have a history.
That is lined up badly. I love that and can't wait to learn more about it every day. Holy shit. Well,
Lord.
When you learn about that one part, you're not going to like it very much. That's 5 stars, though. Here's 3 stars. 3 stars here. I've lived in a Cedar City my whole life.
Hey,
not necessarily this one. Cedar City, Ohio. I lived in Cedar City, Alabama.
From Cedar City to Cedar City.
Cedar City, Ontario, and now I'm here. It has a lot to offer. Beautiful and diverse surroundings, world-class theater, World-class theater? Really?
Stop it.
Theater? A decent university. The theater's world-class, but the university, so-so. A quaint downtown, a relatively safe community, and some delicious local restaurants. It has its share of problems, too. If you're not outdoorsy, there's not much to do. Not a lot of options for employment, especially if you're hoping for a steady 9-to-5 office job with benefits and opportunities for career growth. It's a fast-growing community, which means fast-growing housing prices, and the pay in the area doesn't reflect that. People in the area are often unwelcome of newcomers from out of state. They have an irrational fear of the local culture being tainted, as we've seen from there. They didn't even want people from Arkansas passing through. They weren't even staying. They were just passing through.
They weren't even open to Arkansas's culture.
Yeah. Spare only the toddlers. Everyone dies. What? Holy shit. That's kind of what they are here. Cedar City isn't a small town anymore, but locals don't want to acknowledge that. It's still a small town. I don't know what the hell. I don't know where she's from, but relax. Or he, I don't know. Cedar City, I'm sorry. They tend to blame newcomers for the town's problem. One problem, apparently. Cedar City isn't a small town. Never mind. Blah, blah, blah. Cedar City is a town of unfulfilled potential. You're just complaining it was too big now. Here's 2 stars. I like this one. I wouldn't call it perfect. I moved here about 9 years ago, and all the kids in the schools were rude, as were the teachers. I like when they have a specific complaint like this. Stuff is pretty overhyped and expensive here. It sure is beautiful, but dry and very bad for your health. Air quality is okay, but when fire season hits, you breathe smoke. In my neighborhood, you can't go a few days without hearing a siren from something. Okay, a siren from something? That means that the local services are working. That's
they're
good.
Helping.
Yeah,
Calm down.
And from something, and every year about 2 crime scenes happen in my neighborhood. Some people may call it safe, but if it comes to emotional and mental safety and health, Cedar is a pile of trash. Okay.
My
Jesus.
goodness.
Also, really hard to make money and find a job. There are maybe a few nice people who have lived here for a bit and maybe a few nice locals, but most people are stuck up and rude, which makes it impossible to make any friends. Only good thing is when you're moving to a more affordable place, you can sell your house in Cedar for a ton of money and buy a newer, cheaper one and earn some money. This place really scars you for life. Good God.
There are very few places in the world, James, where the housing is outrageously expensive, yet there are always sirens for things.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't happen.
That doesn't make any sense.
This person, their 2-star review, much more succinct, but pretty much the same thing, but way more succinct. Quote, there is only one bar. That's it. That's the whole review. They don't care about all that shit. They're like, I want to get hammered in one place and I don't really like it. Bartender's kind of an asshole.
Moe's is not for me.
Not for me. So people in this town, population, today it's swelled, 36,090.
Wow.
It is shot up, though. I mean, it's like really shot up here. A few more females than males, but pretty much in the average. Median age is a little under 27, which is way younger than the national average, but colleges in the town, so 7,000.
There's not a lot of Utah, is one of those states where there's not big cities. There's Salt Lake, and that's about it.
That's about it. It really is. So this is one of those things where 7,000 out of the 36,000 are college kids.
Yeah.
And then people have a lot of kids there. There's a lot of Mormon population, so you're going to end up with kids. So you lower that age.
And southern Utah is very similar to West Texas, where it's few and far between.
Yeah, absolutely. The towns are spread out. They really are. Married population is about 53%, which sounds low for Utah, but for a college town, that is outrageously high.
That's high, yeah.
That's really high for a college town. It's higher than the national average here. Divorce rate is low. Widow rate is like half.
Really?
So young married people is what you're getting there. This is a college town, 6% single with no children.
Is that right?
In a college town. That is absolutely, it's astounding.
Insane.
I don't even know what to say about that. Race of this town, not shocking. It's Utah. 83% white.
Yeah.
It's about right. Not right. It's right for Utah. That's about right. That's about how I like it.
It's a little higher, but that's doing pretty good.
Let's try to get that up to 93 if you can, Utah. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's about what you figure for Utah. You're going to go above 80% probably. 0.3% black. That is
That's staggeringly low.
Wow, that's very low. 0.5% Asian, 3% Native American. Mm-hmm. So there's more Native American than normal. Obviously, it's normal. I think it's 2% in the whole country, maybe.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's not a lot at all here, and 10% Hispanic. So it's not. It's pretty white, basically. Religion of this town: 80% are religious, 80.5%, which is as high as we've ever had. Yeah. That is crazy. A couple of Baptists, 1%, 5% Catholic, a Lutheran here or there, 72% Mormon.
My Christ, are you kidding?
That is, wow, that's a lot.
Heavy. Yeah.
That's a heavy. That's why there's one bar.
Yeah.
And it's being eyed the whole time by everyone in town.
There's a lot of secret handshakes and shit happening.
Wow. 0.0% Jewish. That's not, no. Let's see. This in the county, very conservative in this county. It's rural Utah. Right. 76% Republican in the last election, 20% Democrat, 5% independent, which is actually high. Economy here in this town, the median household income is pretty low. Unemployment rate is low too, but it's a lot of lower paying jobs. It's a lot of retail jobs and, restaurants and things like that. Median household income, $42,000, which is,
that's real low.
About $15,000 less than the national average. Cost of living, 100 is regular. Here it's 91. Mm-hmm. So pretty close. Housing is a 101, so pretty close to that as well. Average. Median home cost, $280,500.
So much for out of the realm of affordable. What the
fuck? They were saying how it's still a lot of money, but it's average for the country. So they're acting like it was so outrageously out of bounds.
Welcome to America, friend.
Yeah, it's just you live here now. So that said, if we've convinced you, damn it, you have to be in Cedar City, Utah. It's the only place for you. We have for you the Cedar City, Utah Real Estate Report. Okay. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $728. So that is very low. Yeah. That's affordable. That's college prices. That's good. I found some homes here. There's no real shit places here. It's kind of like a nice little small town when it comes to that. I found one here. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,100 square foot house. Yeah. It looks like maybe somebody's hip grandma died there. Fun. That's kind of the way. Yeah, it's kind of the way it looks like it. Bad backsplash, weird shit like that. It's a little bit creepy. Very large Jesus picture. It's an interesting. I don't know if that comes with the home or not. Mm-hmm. Either way, $240,000.
And Jesus stays.
$239,900 without the Jesus picture, maybe. I don't know. So, got another one here. This one, 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom.
My God.
4,533 square feet. It's a big old house. It's a nice house. Kind of has that Utah, Colorado rustic wood look to it. Has a little bit of that. Yeah. Antlers. You can just see antlers. No. Yeah. It's one of those places where you're like, antlers would go well there for some reason. $785,000 though for that.
Holy shit!
But it's a big ass house. That's a big house. Next one here. Let's go big time. Let's say you have the whole church.
Bigger than number 2, James.
You got a whole church in your downline. Let's say you're ready to do this. You took everyone for their LuLaRoe money. There was a lot of. Because they were Mormon, and there's a lot of that.
Plenty of them, yeah.
5-bedroom, 5-bath, T-bowl for each and every B-hole here. 6,524 square feet. Big pool. Most of the pictures of the place are the pool. They're really proud of it.
Showcase that motherfucker.
Really proud of it. Plenty of animals. Again, I feel like to move into these places, you need to just have animal heads there. They go, well, how many heads you got? You're like, well, I only have 2. They're like, I don't know. I don't know if we can sell it to you. There's a zoning requirement here for heads.
You got any antelope? That's a requirement.
Anything? $1.9 million for that, though.
$2 million.
$2 million. It's a big place. A lot of room, some acreage. How it goes. So let's get to things to do since it's Festival City, USA.
Boy.
quickly, to run through some festivals here that they have, Utah Shakespeare Festival, Frontier Homestead Folklife Festival.
That makes sense.
Oh, boy. Utah Summer Games. They liken it to like a mini Utah Olympics.
What?
I don't know. It's a Olympics where white people can win for once, I think, finally.
What do you want to bet cornhole's involved?
Yeah. Someone blonde is going to win the gold, God damn it, for once. That's what they're saying here. The Midsummer Renaissance Fair Utah UFO Festival, which we'll talk about here.
Oh, my God.
Some children parade deals, Great American Stampede, Iron County Fair, Red Rocks Improv Festival. Oh, fucking shoot me.
Yuck.
Cedar Livestock and Heritage Festival, Paiute Tribe Restoration Festival and Powwow, Belgian Waffle Ride.
What?
And there's no waffles there, but it's a bike race, but they call it the Waffle Ride. Don't you have me show up someplace thinking
waffles,
there's going to be waffles, and then I get there and it's no waffles.
Ride a bike, motherfucker.
We are fucking fighting. I swear to God, I will beat the shit out of somebody.
Why would they call it that?
I don't understand that here.
To get people to show up. Because otherwise, riding my bike, I can do that in my spare time.
Where's the waffles, man? Here's a 10-speed. What? I'm hungry. I came for waffles.
Lay down some tracks. Those tires look like waffles.
Oh, come on now. Okay, there's the Utah UFO Festival. Let's talk about that quick.
Yeah.
That they say, quote, "This is not an ordinary UFO conference. We are completely inclusive and free to the public." You know, like those elitist other UFO organizations that keep everyone out. You apply for years and years and you just can't get in. You know how that goes.
You gotta have a sponsor and shit. None of that here.
It's like Harvard when you go there. It's ridiculous. We want to hear about your UFO experiences. Imagine saying that.
Too. Yeah.
Everyone tell me your fucking UFO experiences. I want to hear them. We're truly a grassroots festival, which means that we are building this from scratch and trying to be as inclusive as possible. Also, we have no building, and this takes place on the grass, which is also why we're...
That's why we call it grassroots.
That's why
you sit your fat ass right on them.
Oh, my God. It says it's not another, quote, commercial crapshoot.
What?
Wow, we believe that through photography and skillful interpretation, we can observe and change the social stigma surrounding the UFO question and finally answer, are we alone in the universe? With an astounding...
We're tired of being looked at like idiots.
We're going to answer with an astounding no. Through embracing the folklore and mysteries of the desert Southwest, we can spread a fun and informative enthusiasm for space, the final frontier.
Oh, God.
My God, they're all going to figure it out there out in the Utah desert. There's the Livestock Festival. They have antique tractor and horse pull. There's a Dutch oven contest. Apparently, you just see who can keep their significant other's head under the covers after a rip-roaring fart the longest.
I would think, as soon as that became called that, why would you ever call anything that?
Frank wins. His wife threw up 3 times. She's got tears coming down her face. Obviously, Frank wins. Jesus Christ. Frank ate 4 cans of Dinty-Moore for dinner that he left out in the sun. So apparently that's the trick.
Old Stephanie's eyes, look at him. Mascara running.
What the fuck? There's also a sheep parade. Would you look at them sheep?
Don't like that.
Look at that one. No, third from inside. That's the pretty one right there. A sheep parade. That's scary. And
Dutch ovens and sheep parades.
Dutch oven sheep parades and a cowboy poetry contest. I give up, man. I fucking give up, bro. I give up. That's it.
Do they read the poetry to their sheep?
That's what I mean. Oh, that's scary. That's scary.
What
and then quickly, we can't. The funny part is we have no time to stop and go over this because we could spend 20 minutes on this.
Forever,
the Iron County Fair. This is the quote. Don't miss the beautiful baby contest.
What?
There's also a demolition derby, fish grab, Little Buckaroo Junior Rodeo, Iron County Fair's Got Talent, Probably not. Miss Iron County and Miss Rodeo Iron County. Those are very different women, by the way. One has chaps on is the difference.
Yeah, one's rugged as shit.
Mud Bog Parade, and then, quote, miscellaneous activities.
We're just going to do some shit.
I don't know what they're going to. They're going to get mud on Miss Iron County. We're going to get her muddy. See how she likes that.
This place is so much fun.
Wow. Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in. Property crime is right about at the average. Now, violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is about half the national average.
Is that right?
So, yeah, it's a little bit low. Looking good. So, not bad. That said, let us talk about a murder.
I cannot wait.
An especially horrific murder, I must say here. This is a strange one. It's just a weird, and then a lot of times people will talk about it, and some people are like, the end of the episodes, like some of the legal stuff, like the appeals, like, I don't care about that. I'll kind of zone out during that. Don't do that this week. It's from the second from now till the end, it is completely batshit. So I'm telling you, hang on here. So let's go back in time, not too far, actually, to 1998. What do you say here, Jimmie? What a time. Jimmie's life was great. Jimmie, how thick was your hair back then? Good, right?
So lush.
Lush, right?
It was fantastic. I was cutting the shit out of it like an idiot.
You're shaving it anyway. He's dyeing the tips blonde like a douchebag.
Yeah, I had a Caesar and everything.
He's like, I want to look like that guy from Sugar Ray if it kills me.
What an asshole I was. That was the year I got robbed, James. That was
perfect.
The year it all changed for me, and I stopped carrying cash.
When did that happen? What month?
What month? I want to say May of 2000 or 98.
Well, this is July of 98, so you're
right
still
around then. Yeah,
you were recovering from it then. You were doing well here.
Not a good time.
July 9th and going into the morning of July 10th of 1998, we have to go to, and what a scene here. I don't know what the shifts are at the Cedar City Police Department, but I sincerely hope that one doesn't start at midnight, because if this is the first thing you find on your shift, like if you get there, you got a cup of coffee in your hand still, and you go out, just pull out of the station, and you're waiting for a call, and then you get this. That's a bad day. Like, holy shit. Wow, I just got here. Can we get 12:20 a.m. This is several police officers arrive at a home in Cedar City in response to a 911 call from a neighbor.
Okay.
And it was a simple there was a couple of calls saying different things. One said there was some screaming or just some loud behavior and they didn't know what it was, and one said there was gunshots somewhere. So they respond to this, so there's some sort of disturbance here. So another neighbor told the 911 dispatcher that she heard, quote, a man and woman yelling and heard sounds of children crying at one point. So we have gunshots to a man and woman yelling and children crying. And that person didn't hear gunshots, though.
All the worst sounds.
Terrible. All of these are terrible.
Was there also a dog yelping in pain? Jesus.
There's a dog yelping in pain. There is there's the sound of taps being played on a trumpet. It's terrible. Something sounds suspicious.
And
I hear
shovel
taps.
digging.
Yeah, it's bad stuff. I heard that. I heard a truck like revving up. That's not good. All sorts of stuff here. So coming from the home of a woman named Claudia Ben, who lives there with her daughters and grandchildren. We'll talk about that. So the officers arrive at the house. They kind of set up a little perimeter just to see what's going on. When they go around the back of the house, they notice that, much like in last week's, this is an interesting coincidence, that the sliding glass door has been broken out. They noticed that. Yeah, these sliding glass doors are just murder traps. They're Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
I'm gonna wall this thing in.
I'm telling you, these murderers see a sliding glass door and they don't even think twice about it. They're just like, I can see it, so they just throw a rock through it and run right into it.
I don't even need to go through it, but I got to break it.
It's insane, man. So yeah, he broke this thing with a rock. It's been broken out, and the glass had been like removed, like all the shards that stick in, like it's been like broken out. Yeah, like it's been made to be like this open doorway now with minimal glass in there. So the police from the outside yell, anybody inside, come the fuck out. Let's, step on out here. And a man comes out the opposite way of the house, because this is in the back with the sliding glass door. From the garage, a man stumbles out from the garage. Now, this man, you're in a home. Who knows who he is? It could be anybody. This particular man is absolutely covered in blood. I mean, fucking head to toe, covered in blood, like he was bathing in it, which is a problem immediately. Like I said, this isn't the first thing you want to see.
No, certainly questions.
Yeah, like, if you're still on your first cup of coffee, this isn't what you want to encounter. Like, holy shit, I was going to give a speeding ticket or something, ease into the day. This is wild.
Started with decaf. This is crazy.
Take some weed from a college kid around the block. This is fucking ridiculous. Yeah. So covered in blood, and he states right away that I killed her, stabbed her with a knife.
Yikes.
Killed her. And they're like, oh, now he's got cuts on him too. Yeah. The whole thing's a fucking disaster. So right away they're like, well, let's sit you over here, hands behind your back, first of all, while we figure out what's going on. And they're like, he seems disoriented. He's not walking very straight. So they don't even know if he's of his right mind or if that might be his blood, because he's got cuts all over his hands. Right. So they don't know.
Is he bleeding out right now and he's dizzy?
Yeah, they have no idea what's going on here. So the one officer, Destry Griffiths, he's
name.
Destry?
Yeah, it's a cool fucking name.
Destry. It's not a cool name. Destry? It's a bad name. DESTRY.
Yeah, most badass dirt bikers in the world.
Okay, for a dirt biker, it's a good name.
Yeah.
For a normal human being, it's not a good name.
For a guy at the check stand, you're like, Destry, is it?
Destry? For a guy who's going to die in a cloud of dust, it's a fine name. The last thing on earth he's going to hear is as the other bikes fly over him and keep going.
Yeah, that's a solid name.
That's a great name for him, the poor Destry. But
die in a cloud of dust.
like that's
poor guy.
It's a great name for him. If he does die now, I'm going to feel terrible if he dies in a cloud of dust.
He's kicked the shit out of cancer twice. He's pretty badass.
Well, keep me informed on that
All
guy
right.
if he gets killed. But for a Cedar City police officer, I don't know about Destry as the name.
No.
He witnesses this guy coming out of the house. And he says, this is a police officer, quote, "I heard a door slam and saw a shadow coming out of the doorway." This is getting creepier. Imagine that. This is cinematic. Think about this.
It really is.
They show up, things broken out, the door slams, you see a shadow. It looks bigger because it's a shadow. And it comes out, and the man's covered in blood, which is even scarier than a large shadow.
It's like a Stephen King book.
This is amazing. He said, quote, "I told him to get down. He was wearing pants and shoes, no shirt. I saw the blood on his hands and asked him, quote, 'Where'd you get the blood?'
Yeah.
Oh, for 7-Eleven. Get it like
I've been looking for some.
Got a super big blood, just 44 ouncer. You fill it up, it's like 89 cents.
Yeah. It's a blood buster.
It's a blood buster. Yeah, they're really good. They sell them at Circle K. He says, "Where'd you get the blood?" The answer was, quote, "I killed her. I stabbed her with a knife." They were like, okay. Takes a pause, then he says, "Satan wanted her dead." Oh, so the cop's like, okay then.
Cop said, "Oh no,
pardon?
Tomorrow's my anniversary. Now I'm missing."
Jesus Christ! Now that's I have the worst luck. Oh no, maybe not the worst luck, because it gets second worst luck because it gets bad here. So, Satan wanted her dead. So there's another officer there, Officer J.R. Robinson. And he says that this guy appeared to be intoxicated in some way, shape, or form. Didn't seem to be in his right mind. And the guy then, the murderer, allegedly, self-professed murderer here, Satan's minion, as he might go at this point, he said, quote, "Do me a favor, just shoot me, okay? Please, just shoot me. Come on."
Not allowed.
And that's what he said. Robinson said, "I told him I couldn't do that." Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, we're not allowed.
That's my job, man.
Regulations. You can't just do it if I ask you.
Yeah.
You can't just ask me to do it.
I got a pension.
No. Now that I know you want me to, I can't. See, that's how it works. If you didn't want me to, I could just empty my clip.
Yeah,
but now they asked for it.
Do it.
Now they asked for it. I'm sorry. It happens all the time. You'll see a guy on the highway, like some showdown, and he's got like 4 assault rifles and a grenade launcher, and he's like, "I just want to die." And they're like, "We're not going to shoot you, man.
We're not allowed now."
Yeah, you said you wanted to die, so we can't do it. It's very strange. So they said no. Obviously, we can't do it. So this is fucking wild. So inside the house, obviously, they're very curious to see inside the house at this point and see what's going on. So they go into the house and they find a woman face down in the living room. Okay. She is partially nude, face down. There's a telephone in her left hand there, and a large, very large, blood-stained kitchen butcher knife is lying near her head. Yes. So not hard to add 2 and 2 together here. Right. Blood, a lot of blood, has pooled in the carpet and the floor underneath her neck, all by her head. That's where the majority of the blood is. Mm-hmm. And blood is all over her. Her backside is exposed, and there's blood all over her there. There's blood on her back. There's blood on her, everywhere here, lower body, and on the floor all around her. One thing they notice right away is there's a pretty nasty and large bite mark on her left arm. Wow. Like a good one, not a little bite mark, not a love bite. This is a love nibble. This is a fucking, I'm going to try to take a chunk of your arm out kind of bite.
This is, starving.
Yeah, horror movie type shit here. Very, very horrible. Then they're looking around. They don't know how many, there could be more victims. They don't know anything here. More killers, more victims, more anything. Who the fuck knows? So there's drops of blood found all over the house. They just find there's blood everywhere. They're like, blood over here. So they're trying to follow trails of blood to maybe more people being, because someone in this situation, if someone came into the house, broke out the back door, some home invader or something, and killed, if they wounded somebody badly, they might have crawled into a closet to hide, or, you know what I mean? So they have to look everywhere. On the kitchen floor, the kitchen drawers are covered in blood. The bathroom floor's got blood all over it. Blood in the sink, blood on the walls near the bathroom where the body was found.
Just a frenzy.
Yeah, blood smeared all over closet doors. Wow. It looks like 5 people cut themselves open with razor blades and then had like a Heathcliff style brawl where they all just were in a big cloud of dust.
Like a shaking party and just throwing it everywhere.
Yeah, they just had a mosh pit in here while they were all having giant open wounds. There's shit everywhere. So they did say that nothing in the house seemed to be disturbed, though. There's blood everywhere, but there's it's not trash. Nothing's knocked over. There's no drawers aren't rifled through. There's none of that shit. Closets aren't torn apart with shit on the floor. It's just smeared. It looks like somebody stumbled around and just smeared, couldn't get their footing or something. They said, quote, there was blood throughout the home, the kitchen, hallways. We're not sure whose blood all of it was because there were minor wounds to the suspect's hands as well, but nothing was overturned or looked like it had been disturbed. So that's the police quote. So who is this woman here? Her name is Claudia Benn, Benn. She is 49 years old. And she's been in town for about a year, a little over 14 months or so. Mm-hmm. She came to work as a tribal substance abuse counselor for the Paiute community.
Awesome.
So, yeah, she's a really nice lady. Everybody likes her. Her daughter has lived in this area for a while, so that's how she ends up here. She's also from here, too, now. So, her daughter stayed. She moved away. She came back. Okay. She's described as a very, very hardworking woman and always doing well and trying to help people. She was big, like I said, into substance abuse counseling and trying to get the tribe members to avoid alcohol and drug use and all that sort of thing. So she was working at the Paiute Tribal Center there. The night that she was killed, July 9th, she had been at the Tribal Center and she was talking to the Paiute Tribal Council. And she recalled that night, she was talking about the spiritual experience she had. She went to a tribal land along the Colorado River, and she said that it's like, it says, I'll just read the quote here from them. They said, every year we hold the Paiute Consortium on the Colorado River where people monitor the plants in the area, and there are places that only Paiute can go because of the spirituality there. She went the first part of June. They said at our council meeting, she gave a report and she talked about how being so calm and peaceful and having gone there had centered her and makes her feel so good now. And she was happy and she described herself as happy and emotional and feeling great about the world that night. Feeling feeling wonderful on July 9th. She talked to them and she said, knowing our people lived there a long time ago, she mentioned she could feel their presence. She was in tune with the area and knew the power that it has. She told us, I'm just really grateful I had the opportunity to go there. She told us there's a lot that they saw on a trip that was spiritual, and she felt the spirit. She said she was climbing up the hill. It was a tall hill and difficult to climb. And she said when it was time to come back down, she couldn't figure out how she got up there. She said she felt like the spirits helped her up there. So she was just saying she's never felt more connected with her ancestors and the earth and all this shit. And she's in this wonderful Zen chill place right now that she feels great. Her one friend said she touched all of us with her laughter and crying, telling us about her trip. It was a trip she needed to take. She told us, now I know where I come from. It was really touching. I think the trip was setting the path for her. She was there and close to what was important to her. Her neighbors and people that knew her said she was quiet, kind of, kept to herself outside of work, always had a job. Everyone at her job said she's a very outgoing worker. She's supposed to go into the community and put on workshops and find out where she's needed and where resources are needed and kind of go there and try to set up things to help. That's her job. So the one of her bosses said, quote, I never really saw her that much in the office. She was always out on the road.
That's great.
Was her job. Yeah.
Sick job.
It's a pretty crazy job. This woman said she impacted a lot of people. She always wanted people to be happy. Depending on what lifestyle we came from, that could sometimes be hard. But rather than be gloomy, she was always caring about the fellow man, always stopping to talk, ask how you were doing. This is a terrible blow for us. She apparently worked for years at the University of Utah Women's Center. And her friend said she always had a dream to come back and work with her own people, and she got to do that at least for a short time.
She's a native lady?
She's a native too. Yeah, she went to the went back and connected with her spiritual. What do you think? She was fucking Dutch?
I don't know. I see a white woman with braids and beads in fucking Sedona.
Oh, no. She's actually a native woman.
Actually native and getting back to. For me to do that, I'd have to go back to.
I feel so good talking to the helping the people of this downtrodden tribe, and no, she's not her. She's actually
some lady named Nancy
helping her own people. Yeah, no, this is totally different. Totally different deal.
I have to go to like fucking Germany and eat something sour.
And that's the other thing I think that gets overlooked a lot is a lot of these tribal communities, especially like I know in Canada, a lot of them. It's not talked about a lot, but these are very poor areas. Yeah, they don't have a lot. It's the desperate times for a lot of people here. Sure. This is for lack of better terms, this is like, a lot of these areas are like the ghetto. You know what I mean? What you would say. You wouldn't think that because it's more rural. It's not an urban environment, but it doesn't matter. Like the money's not there, employment's not there. It's really difficult. So substance abuse is a problem as well, like it is everywhere. And so this is an important thing. So back to the crime scene. The police said we found a knife and there's some evidence of stab wounds, but no gun or any sign of any gunshots. So they don't know where the fuck that 911 call came from about gunshots. Yeah. It's so strange that someone heard something to call, but they heard gunshots.
Who knows? You ever hear fucking glass break like that? Sometimes it sounds like a gunshot. That is a loud bang.
Maybe like a door slamming really loud.
Yeah.
That's possible, but I mean, gunshot.
How hard was he hitting her with that knife? Jesus.
One door slam wouldn't make me pick the phone up and call the cops and go, I think I heard a gunshot. Like, how paranoid do you have to be for that?
How fast are you slamming that door?
Yeah, how hard could you slam it? The fucking frame will come off. So the police chief of Cedar City said at first the exact cause of death hadn't been determined because there's a knife and there is multiple issues here that we need to talk about. She has just been, this is horrible. So, they said that nothing was overturned or anything like that. Dr. Maureen J. Fricky, that's from the state medical examiner's office, said finally that Claudia had died as a result of multiple knife wounds to the throat. She said there was one very large, sharp cut that penetrated to the neck bone and went from ear to ear. So basically a Nicole Simpson is what it was. Right. That's the same type of thing that happened to Nicole Simpson. Just such throat slashing with such force that it almost cuts the head off. If it wasn't for the spine, the head wouldn't be there anymore. Right. You want to hear about hatred? Wait till we hear the rest of it. But first of all, who the fuck is this asshole who did this? Let's talk about that. Who's the asshole covered in blood, babbling about Satan and begging for death? Let's see. His name is Tabaron Dave Honey. Honie. Tabaron, and Dave is his middle name. So we'll call him Tabaron. Dave. Let's go with Dave for the middle name. I don't know. So now Honey, he's only 22 years old. Honey,
youngster.
Like we said, Claudia was 49. Yeah. Do they have a connection, or is he just a random guy? Well, they definitely have a connection because he has had an ongoing on and off relationship with Claudia's daughter, Carol. Carol Pietragallo is her name. Now, they also have a 2-year-old daughter together. Oh. So that's why this thing lingers on and on and on. They have a child together. So these relationships, you can extricate yourself from a relationship, but when there's a child involved, it makes it so much harder
to be around that person all the time, or at least once in a while.
That's what I'm saying. You're always forced to have some interaction. You have to talk about the kid, exchange the kid, all that kind of shit. So a bad relationship with these kid exchanges is terrible. So they've had the child, and this 2-year-old was one of the children, by the way, because we didn't talk about that, and we'll get to that, who was home at the time of this murder, by the way, because she lives there with Claudia. So now he is described, Honey, as a 22-year-old homeless man at this point, who witnesses repeatedly when he was in the driveway and one cop is sitting with him, he was repeatedly shouting, quote, "Satan made me do it, Satan made me do it, Satan made me do it."
Oh, my.
Repeatedly.
A lot of those times those people scream that shit just because they know how fucked up they are and how really fucked they just made this situation.
Yeah, maybe they think, I don't know. And if you're a religious person, maybe you have some sort of thought that Satan took over you, like, possible, Satan must have taken, and that's a way for you to smooth it over in your own mind. Yeah. I can make this work in my brain if that happened. I don't know. That's just a thought. I don't know what's going on
at the moment.
Well, I don't know what's going on in the mind of someone who's full of alcohol and covered in blood and screaming about Satan and just committed a murder. So who knows? So one of the police officers said, quote, "He started to say something about the occult and Satan, but there's nothing to indicate that this was any kind of ritualistic crime." Yeah. And as we'll talk about it, you'll see that definitely not. They're going to go ahead and charge him with aggravated murder for that because, right away, they're just looking at the scene and hearing what he's saying. They're like, well, that's an aggravated murder. Yeah. By the way, maximum sentence for aggravated murder in this state is death penalty. You bet. As we'll talk about. About Honey, he has been in trouble kind of since high school. His first kind of brush with any kind of trouble that would be documented in paperwork is in 9th grade when he is suspended for smoking marijuana at school. At school, which, I mean, we've all done that, but you don't get caught for doing it. That's what you got to do is hide it really well. Yeah, I mean, I get it. But you don't, I want to know the circumstances. Was he trying to hide it or was he just being a dipshit? You know what I mean? Like showing off? Yeah. Like I had, they still have them too, but they were more prominent kind of in the 90s. Like those, it looks like a cigarette. It's a metal thing and you stuff the weed in and you smoke it that way. A little dugout, yeah. I used to do that. I used to have one of those, and I'd smoke that at school. And that way, if any of the teachers saw you, they just go, "Hey, put that cigarette out," and you'd be like, "Oh, sorry," and then you walk away. What did you live in, James? Fucking New York. What are they going to monitor for cigarettes? They were just like, nobody stab each other. Everybody stop. Fucking people are crazy back. The kids are insane back here. They're fucking nuts. Yeah, they're just trying to keep everyone alive till the end of the day. If you're smoking, just put it out. Please put it out. Just don't do it right in front of me, for God's sake. We had a Pepsi fountain on campus, and you would have your cup that we would put a hole in the bottom of the cup and then put a joint or a cigarette in the lid, and then you just take a drag on it. It looks like you're taking a drink out of it, but you got to blow that out. You got to exhale. That's the problem. Yeah, you got to exhale. That's going to be the issue. And that's how we got caught. I remember in 8th grade, kids smoking behind the bleachers in gym class, and the teacher would be like, "Why the hell does it smell like smoke in here?" And they're looking everywhere for smoke, and they're just smoking cigarettes behind the bleachers. The whole fucking gym is full of smoke. That was in Phoenix in 8th grade when I went there for 1 year. Yeah, I used to smoke in the bathroom. In the stall. Just between every single class, I would go take 3-4 drags off a cigarette and fling it down the toilet and flush it, and then blow it out in the stall and walk out. But eventually, the security guards would just come in the bathroom and watch over the stall for cigarette smoke. Post up for fucking. It's a pretty easy. It's a pretty easy catch, you would think. Pretty easy catch. Just hanging a net out of the boat at that point, and they're jumping right in. You walk out of the stall, and they're like, "Let's go to the office." You're like, "Oh, I'm caught." Oh, my God. Because I'm an idiot. My school is just cloud of smoke coming out of the bathroom at all times. Constantly. So he's got in trouble for that. He got suspended, and his parents enrolled him at the time, though, in counseling and treatment.
Yeah.
So they were on top of that shit, actually. My parents wouldn't have done that.
No.
They would have been like, don't smoke. Are you out of your fucking mind? Smoke weed at school? They called me. Do you understand? They called me. I was at work.
Job.
I was at work and they called me.
That fucking
is not happening
that
again.
is.
Yeah. That would be what I got. Not counseling and treatment. That's not happening. Don't do it again. Let me counsel you for a minute. Get over here. The fuck is wrong with you? That's what I would have got, definitely. So he apparently he's kind of he's only 22. He's been out of school a few years, and he's just kind of fallen into heavy drinking and general fuckaboutness. Yeah. Just general fuckery. He doesn't take his daughter, obviously, because where's he going to take her?
Yeah.
He's homeless.
He's got no house.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do there. He apparently has been with Carol on and off since about 94. He was arrested in 95 for beating her unmercifully.
Oh, my God.
While drinking heavily, and was convicted and spent 90 days in jail for it. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, it was tribal court
serious.
he was convicted by. Yeah, he beat the crap out of this poor woman back then. Wow. So that was 95. So that's 3 years earlier.
Right.
He beat the crap out of her here.
Likely pregnant at the time?
I don't know if she was pregnant at the time or after that. Okay. I think after that. But that's because she was 2, the daughter. It could have gone either way. Could have been either way. Either way, though, not great. Put it that way. So he apparently was a known alcoholic at the time. Everyone in town knows this guy is like, oh, that guy, he's going to be stumbling around drunk. He's homeless. He'd been working recently, actually. He's had a job. He's worked. He got a job in a staffing agency, so he's worked at multiple places because they're all temp shit. Yeah. He's recently been fired from the temp agency due to absenteeism, though, because, you have to actually show up for the jobs they fucking tell you to go for is the problem. That's the problem, really, is they want you to show up, and you're like, Christ, I got to show up now. So he, like we said, been convicted of beating his girlfriend there. During the months leading up to this whole murder issue, he was fired from several jobs at several of Cedar City's, what they said, largest employers here. He worked at Western Rock, O'Sullivan Industries, and Gore, G-O-E-R. I don't know what the fuck that is. Gore? I guess. He got these jobs through SOS Staffing Services in Cedar City. And, he was sent there. The woman that sent him, the manager who sent him out on these jobs, said, it's normal for people to switch jobs all the time. They usually send them out for kind of seasonal needs or, if they have somebody on maternity leave or something, they plug somebody in for a couple months. This sounds like
construction work, though. Like Western Rock sounds like fucking concrete.
Yeah, I don't think he's not doing like high finance, I doubt.
Yeah.
Like he's
doing tough stuff.
Just based on his background, I feel like based on his alcoholism and early marijuana use, it doesn't sound like he's probably
not managing hedge funds out there.
No, I don't think he just graduated from college is what I'm saying. I think he had more of like my background where they'd be like, well, you can lift that shit over there, maybe.
Maybe put that shit right over there.
Not going to pay you much for it, but you can do it, I guess. That's the jobs we were looking for when we were 22.
Put it on that truck, but don't you dare get behind the wheel. You're not qualified.
You are not qualified to drive, for Christ's sake. Jesus, you got to go to school for that.
Yeah.
So, he's been terminated from all these jobs. She said, at one point, she said, quote, "We terminated him because he didn't have good performances for 2 or 3 of our customers. His absenteeism was mostly just life problems, landlords, car trouble, that sort of thing."
Oh, boy.
Excuses when you're too hungover to go to work. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Life troubles.
Alarm clocks, shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, man, my landlord and the thing, and I got to stay here. I got to burst pipe. And
electric company shut the power off. My alarm didn't happen.
You know how it goes. It's terrible. My car broke down. Now I got to get it fixed, and I got to pick my kid up from school at 2. This day has turned into real shit. I'm sorry. I can't make it. None of these companies reported any sort of violence or
behavioral issues. It's just not showing up.
He wasn't threatening. He wasn't threatening people. He's just kind of a a ne'er-do-well shitbag. That's all. Just like that guy's one of the places, here's a quote from her, quote, one of the places we sent him didn't want him back because they had the impression he was intoxicated on the job.
Okay.
That'll do it.
What he lacks is motivation to even give a fuck enough to be violent.
Alcohol's an issue, clearly. If you're drinking at work, alcohol's an issue for you, especially this kind of job. It's not like he works at a bar and he snuck, his job is to kind of make a fun environment. His job is working with like rocks and equipment and sharp metal and shit.
And it's temporary work. It's not even like he has tenure and they just trust him to do his job right.
I don't care anymore. I'm retiring in 6 more months. I got 6 months more on this job. I don't even care. What
this guy's got 30 years left.
He's not even hired yet. This is not good. Not great. The woman also said the companies have drug screenings, but unless it's specifically requested, they don't test for alcohol. So, as long as...
That's generally the easiest one to pick up on, too.
Yeah. As long as you don't stink of booze and are stumbling around, they're not going to notice. So one of the guys who he worked for actually said that he was stunned to learn about this murder accusation. He said he seemed like a very pleasant individual, well-mannered. I spoke to him at the time he was hired and didn't see any problems. I was very surprised when I read about this. Okay. I mean, he was drunk, but he seemed like a happy drunk.
Didn't seem like the sober type to fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of people I know who are drunks where I'd be very surprised if they killed somebody, I'd be like, wow, that seems out of character. They're drunk, but I mean, fuck,
I've seen him kill a 12-pack, but not a person.
Not a person. Sherry Larson, who's the human resource director at Goer, whatever it is, said that Honey worked at the store fixtures manufacturer from March 17th through May 11th. That's almost 2 months. Not bad. Quote, he was scheduled to work 40 hours a week for us in our mill area. In the beginning, he was a good employee. He showed up every day for a while. In the beginning,
it was 2 months.
That's what I mean.
2 months is the beginning.
He showed up every day for a while. What's that, 3 weeks? Then all of a sudden, his attendance got pretty bad. It dropped off badly. And she said, though, she was very surprised to hear about his arrest, though. She said nobody had any confrontations or problems with him. He was just kind of a slacker, basically. That was his whole...
When I describe the beginning of my employment somewhere, it's usually the first, 5 years.
Nope. The first week, I'll tell you, he showed up sober most of the time. Pretty sure he was sober. After that, though, it really kind of fell off the rails. 2 months.
2 months time.
Wow. So July 9th. What triggered all this? What's the problem? Apparently he was shit-faced that night on July 9th, as we found out from when he stumbled out to the police. He was at the home of his girlfriend. Shiloh John is her name.
He's dating another woman?
This is the fucked up part. He's at her home, at another woman's home. He's a homeless man who found a girlfriend, a homeless alcoholic who can't stay employed at a temp agency.
Wow.
Yet still found a girlfriend that's got their own apartment. So
he's crushing it.
He's crushing it for what he should be. So he calls up Carol, Claudia's daughter, his ex, that he has a daughter with, and says, come over here and join me at the house over here. Come hang out with me at my girlfriend's house.
Right.
I guess she wasn't home. I don't know what, but this is a little weird. So Carol said, no, I'm not going here. No, you're an asshole, A. And B, you have a girlfriend. And C, I have to be at work to work the fucking night shift.
Right.
So I'm not going to come hang out with you. That's never going to happen. He said, please come over, hang out with me. She said, I told you I have to work. I'm not coming. He said, come over. If you don't, I'll kill your mother. I'll kill her. I'll fucking kill her dead. And she said, yeah, right, whatever. Whatever. He goes, I'll kill your mother. I'll kill all the children and your sister. Because, by the way, the sister also lives with Claudia with her 2 kids. So there's 3 small children there at the time that lived there. He said, I'll come over and kill everybody. The kids, our kid, her kids, her, your mom, you, everyone's going to die tonight. That's how you're going to come home. That's what she says. She said, yeah, right. Because she literally said she discounted the threats because he threatens her so often with murder and mayhem that she doesn't even register it anymore. He literally says, I'm going to go kill your whole family. And she's like, whatever, dude, I'll talk to you later, and hangs up.
Go.
Like, yeah, I got to go to work. I'll call you tomorrow. Like, it's not even a thing. Wow. Yeah, kill your whole family. Okay, yeah, you know what I'm going to say, right?
Shitty, man.
That's just horrible. It's horrifying.
It's so deep to be involved with somebody that their threats you can't even take them seriously anymore.
No.
You know what I mean?
Especially when he's drunk like that too.
Yeah.
She's like, he's spouting off drunk, and that's just how he is. So this was between 8 and 8:30. He called, and he called a couple of times, as a matter of fact, to talk about this. She said, like I said, she's going to work. Carol said that during the 3 years she knew him, he's made countless threats on her mother's life. So this was nothing new. She had been working as a temp on the graveyard shift at O'Sullivan Industries, which is also, he had a job there temporarily as well too. So she'd been working there for about a month and a half, and there's a chance for her to get hired on full time there.
Yeah.
So she's doing what you do when you work a temp job and you want to get hired full time. She's showing up on time,
working
not
hard.
not missing shifts, being sober at least most of the time. I hope, like the things you do when you want to get hired.
Doing the job.
Yeah. So she said she's trying to become a full-time employee. It's a ready-to-assemble furniture plant. So it's like IKEA. They make like shit furniture that you have to put together that perplexes me to no end, and I can't do. So she said, quote, he told me if I went to work, he'd go to my house and kill my mom. Great. So then he also said, well, tell you what, I'll kill your whole family and I'll take our daughter instead of killing her. I'll just take her with me. How about that? She said, yeah, right. He said that he's threatened the kid's life before, so she doesn't even think about that anymore. So Honey called twice more. She had to leave. She had to be to work at 11. She leaves at 10:30. Okay. He calls twice more between 8:30 and 10:30 with like escalating threats. Basically, like, come on over. Come on. I'll kill your family. Remember that one? She's like, yeah, you said that already.
Why is he so lonely?
He's at his girlfriend's house. Yeah. Does she work the graveyard shift too? What's happening? Where are these people? What's going on in this town? I swear to Christ, do they all go into the fucking Little Miss Rodeo or something? Like, what's happening?
Is he alone at the house? Is that what's supposed to be the story here?
Apparently he's alone at his girlfriend's house, which I don't know, he's homeless. He should just take that as a win.
Fuck, man, alone anywhere is fantastic.
He's drunk and indoors. This is a win.
Awesome. Yeah, it's not raining on you right now.
For an alcoholic homeless man, that's a win. Right. I swear to God. So, he calls twice more. She left for work at 10:30, and the caller ID system that she had registers another call from him after she left for work. Okay. So even she said, I'm leaving for work now, bye, and then he called back anyway just to make sure. So it's a little weird. So Carol leaves her and Honey's daughter with Claudia. Benita, her sister, leaves her two children with Claudia as well, because Benita has to work also. They both work the graveyard shift. So the children were, dressed in their pajamas and everything all ready for bed when they left, because it's 10:30. So, the kids are going to be going to sleep here. Meanwhile, Honey is over here stewing about the whole thing, getting more and more angry and more drunk about it.
Right.
And rather than just, eating something terrible and passing out like you should do if you're angry and drunk, it's fucking people. I'm going to eat this cheeseburger and they'll fucking assholes. And then you fall asleep with like half a Reuben in your hand, drooling on yourself. You know how it works. So
with all of it all over your lap.
Yeah, you wake up and what the fuck is that puke? Oh man. Oh, I spilled the milkshake. Never mind. Why'd I get a milk? Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Milkshake at 3 a.m. Jesus. Honey, on the other hand, he's got other plans. He calls a taxi company. Calls up a taxi.
He's got taxi money.
He's got taxi money, apparently. Mike Mandel, who owns Cedar City Taxi, said, quote, "One of my drivers picked him up on the south end of town on a corner near Walmart. We didn't take him to the address where the murder happened, though. Yeah. That's not where that wasn't his destination. We dropped him off at DL Sargent and Main, which is apparently a intersection, at about 11:30 or 11:45. So near there. They drive. So he got picked up not at his girlfriend's house, but on a corner near a Walmart and got dropped off near the house. So he's got enough sense to where he knows what he's doing and he doesn't want to connect either address to himself. Yeah. So that's right away.
Walmart to the Diamond Shamrock or some shit, and that's it.
That's it. So right away he's to me, before you've done anything, you're trying to cover up what you're doing, who you are, where you're going. So that right away is signs of definite premeditation here. So, they said they didn't take him there. Rick Sweeney is the driver who picked him up. He described Honey as, quote, pretty laid back, but reeked of alcohol and definitely very intoxicated. Yeah, but not drunk as shit, but not too drunk to where he didn't know where he was going, or he could give him an address, a location, and, kind of keep with the conversation.
Coherent and wobbly.
There you go. Coherent, shit-faced, but coherent would be a good way to put it. SBC. That's a good way that's how you classify people. He's SBC. He's cool. Don't worry about him. He's all right. That means they're fun.
Yeah.
That's how I like when our audiences are. That's when we're out doing a live show. Yeah. That's right where you want them. Shit-faced, but coherent. That's when they're the best. They're laughing at stuff. They're fun. Any more shit-faced, you get that guy in Seattle who won't shut the fuck up and he gets angry at things, and
as he's walked out, says, as he's walked out, ask the security, "Am I really that bad?
Am I really that bad?" I yelled at him till I was hoarse, while 700 people cheered, not clapped, cheered us on and while we yelled at him. I threatened to beat him with the microphone, and still.
And every seat around him pointing at him that he's the problem.
This is the asshole. And he was that drunk to where he was like, "Am I that bad? That's too drunk." That's what we're saying. That's too drunk. And if you meet the guy not drunk, maybe a great guy.
I'll
likes
bet
our
he's
show.
Fantastic.
Probably a good guy.
I'll bet
give him another chance.
Sweetheart.
This time, no tailgating. That's all we're saying.
Don't do cake stands in your Ford in the parking lot.
Maybe have like a nice a roast beef sandwich beforehand, something sturdy.
Lay down a nice meat base in there.
Yeah, like a thick crust pizza. Eat like half of that. Get something to soak it all up. So
I'll bet he had that after, or
I'm sure he did.
One of the two.
Oof. I hope he had that after. Someone's throwing something up.
Yeah.
So this was a $5 cab ride. Honey rode in the front of the van. Apparently it was one of those minivans. Rather than getting in the back, he got in the front seat, which is
That's a weird move.
It's a very strange move. And it can be read either way. It can be read as like, "Hey, I feel weird in the back, like you're driving me," or it can be read as, "I'm invading your space up here in your office," you know, which is the way I would read it. I sit in the back to give you the space I would want.
The point of an Uber or a cab, anything where you have a driver, is for them to be shuttling you somewhere. Therefore, get in the fucking back, asshole. Unless there's too many people in your party to not occupy the passenger seat, then everybody in the back. That's how it goes.
If you can get in the back, get in the goddamn back. Jesus Christ.
A, it's safer, and B, in this society, it's fucking safer.
Yeah, why not? I just feel like I'm invading this guy. He's got like a stuff up there. She's got her thing, and I don't know what
lunch in the passenger seat.
Yeah, like I don't know what they're doing up there. The seat's all up and kind of forward. They obviously don't want you there.
They obviously put it that way for me to sit in the back.
That's what they want. So Honey rode in the front of the van, told the driver he was going to Fiddler's Canyon, which is this area of Cedar City, to, quote, visit a friend. Going to visit a friend. So drop me off kind of randomly on the street.
At 11 p.m., I'm going to walk to Fiddler's Canyon.
11:45. My friend doesn't have a driveway or a house to park in front of either, or apartment complex, or just anything.
Just pull into this Mustang. I'll be all right.
I'll be fine. So he does that. Yeah. Later on, Honey would tell the police that after arriving at the Claudia, Ben, and Carol's house here, he said he only came there not to kill anybody, but to, quote, sleep under the porch. Wow. So he came, he's like, "I'm pissed at her. I'm going to talk to her when she's done with work. Yeah. I'm going to go sleep under the porch, and that way I'll hear when she comes back."
I'm going to sleep under the porch of the house where my child is asleep comfortably in a bed.
In the bed. Weird. Now imagine you're coming home from work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you step up your front steps, clap, clap. You're on the porch with your keys, and you hear, "Carol!" Yeah. You're like, "What the fuck?" You look around, you don't see anybody. "Carol, goddammit!" And you're like, "Where the fuck is that coming from?" under your feet. You're like, what the fuck is happening?
Look down.
I'm under the porch, Carol. I can see you through the crack in the boards. I see you. What the fuck is his plan? This guy's a fucking moron. I'm sorry. This guy's an asshole.
A weird move.
It's a very weird move. So he's going to sleep under the porch, but instead, for some reason, I don't know if he like went around back to look in the sliding glass door to make sure that Carol had left or whatever and wasn't just dodging him. So he went around to the back to look in the back door, and here he is all, your daughter's ex-boyfriend who used to beat her is now drunkenly staring in your sliding glass door.
Wow.
You're going to tell him to pound sand. Get the fuck out of here. Go. Leave me alone. So she does. She tells him to go away, get out of here. He said later on that he became upset because, quote, Claudia was cutting him down.
Okay.
Cutting him down. Insulting him.
Names. Yeah. I mean, you're on a patio in the backyard, evidently.
Yeah.
Uninvited. You're going to get some insults hurled at you.
And you're like, I came here to sleep under your porch.
Right.
Like, you're going to get some insults from this is a woman you'd like to reconcile with. This is your mother.
She's not going to be thrilled.
I think you should go back with that nice young man who sleeps under our porch is not something anyone's mother has ever told them, is it? What about that nice young man who sleeps under our porch, dear? He seems like marriage material.
I don't know how you could get under a porch and even take a nap.
Fuck?
Like the things that are under there.
Oh, God,
holy
there's so many
shit.
crawly things under there. There's
the amount of bugs and
spiders
spiders.
and worms and shit under there. Oh, God, that's my nightmare. And you
Forget
can't
the
see
big
any
vermin.
of them?
Yeah.
Oh, God, no.
Jesus.
Oh, that's horrifying.
If you could reconcile with the fact that there may be a raccoon under there.
Yeah. You might have to fight a small mammal for some ground space. That's scary.
But you're going to tolerate the fucking hairy spiders? No.
Carol, I ate a raccoon while I was under here.
Good news. Y'all don't have a raccoon family under here no more. Even better news, I'm full.
Even better news. I was going to ask for a ride to McDonald's, but now I don't need one.
And my ears are warm because I got a new hat.
I made some muffs, Carol. Come on down.
Kind of fucking
This is
weird.
ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Why don't you give that nice boy who lives under our porch another try?
Come on now. I clean up his bottles of Thunderbird every morning. It seems like the one. So he said that she was cutting him down and saying that her daughter was too good for him. You know, she lives indoors and all and isn't an alcoholic. Doesn't get fired by a temp agency.
That's not necessarily cutting you down. That's just giving your daughter a mediocre bar to clear, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a
she's better than
non-alcoholic.
you, Jesus.
Yeah, someone, with a job maybe.
Right.
Minimal things.
Yeah.
A job, some form of a roof, non-alcoholism, something of that nature. So he apparently at that stage got angry at these insults being hurled at him. He's a man of great high honor and he will nobility. He will not be insulted.
Yeah.
He might as well have slapped him in the face with a glove or something. He's this fucking asshole. So he ends up picking up a big rock and breaking the glass door.
That's a fucking bold move.
That is such a crazy thing to do. Right. It really is. Breaks the glass door and clears some of the glass out and enters the home. Then he grabbed a butcher knife with a serrated blade, too.
Eee.
Nasty one from the kitchen because he walked in through the kitchen. And, he walks in. She grabbed the knife with the serrated blade and held it up because, he burst into her house with a fucking rock. So she grabbed a knife off the counter and said, get out of my house. Held it toward him, but he stepped in and grabbed her arm and took it from her.
Wow.
Because he's drunk and doesn't have any fear. Right. When you're drunk like that, you're like, I'll take that knife away from you. It could be Bruce Lee, and you'd be like, give me that thing. And then he'd kick you twice and stab you in the face, and you wouldn't know the difference.
At least take a chance at it, yeah.
You'd try. That's why drunk people get the crap eaten out of them a lot in bars and stuff, because they
have no fear of repercussions. They don't
realize danger.
Right.
So he apparently took it from her and grabbed behind her and held the knife to her throat. Like a movie hostage style, held around her. They fell to the floor at that point, and his story is that she landed on the knife at that point.
Okay.
Landed on the knife, and he says that he only broke the window and went into the house to scare her. He just wanted to scare her because she was talking so much to him that, making him so angry. He thought that he would be like, now what? Now I scared you. He said, quote, she wasn't meant to die. That's what he told the cop. His story is, that's it. I held it to her throat because she had the knife. What was I supposed to do? Yeah. So I took it. I held it to her throat, but she struggled. We fell, and she fell on it, and it must have cut her, and that's how she died. So from that story, you'd expect, what, one wound?
One fatal wound, that's it.
Must have hit the artery, and that's what happens, right?
Not a lot of people fall onto their neck onto a knife.
Yeah, well, if it was held to their throat and you fell, and it fell on his arm, on his arm, and he jutted it in there, that's his story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's...
$1 million baby?
I think it's $1 million baby situation. We have $1 million stab wound here, and that's that. But instead, they go, well, that's funny, Honey. That's a terribly tragic story. It really is. I mean, you could see it happening. I'm watching it in my brain right now.
Yeah.
But the weird part is that the medical examiner said the throat was actually cut about 4 times from ear to ear. With the final one really taking it all the way back to the neck bone. Can you explain the repeated stabs to the genitalia as well? Because that was did she fall on it with her genitalia as well multiple times? Did that happen also?
Bottle of olive oil spill and she kept falling down?
Kept falling down. Oh, by the way, there's a bunch of like start marks, like people who aren't experienced in cutting people's throats or stabbing people. Often the first wounds are not the deep ones. The first wounds are like starts to like see how much pressure. Right. Oh, that's not enough. Because you don't think, I'm going to do this violent thing. You're like, how much is, that didn't go. Oh, wow, the person's chest is harder than I thought it was to get a knife into. I better stab harder. So that's what happens. Same thing with the throat cutting. You don't know how much pressure. So there's like start marks of like, I didn't cut deep enough. Let her do it again. There's like a bunch of those as well.
Oh, God.
It's pretty bad here. So one of the neighbors said, I heard a door slam. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is the police officer saying that. So the attack here, the postmortem of the body, buckle up, everybody, for the next couple of minutes. This is going to be brutal, absolutely brutal. But I'm going to read it right from the court documents. Medical examiner, no jazzy razzmatazz here. This is just right straight from the deal. So it's going to be pretty gross. The quote: the postmortem of Ben's body revealed that Honey brutally slit Ben's throat. Honey had cut Ben's neck from ear to ear. 4 start marks on her neck ran together into a deep cut from the front of the neck through to the backbone in the back of the neck.
Wow.
That's the head. 3 deep cuts into the backbone were identified. So 3 deep slashes into the backbone. Think about that. He tried to take her head.
Yeah.
He tried 3 times, and he was like, well, bones are hard. Fuck it.
Yeah.
So, quote, Honey also mutilated Ben's lower body, stabbing and cutting her multiple times, both in and around the vagina and anus. Honey stabbed her in the vagina at least 3 times.
What the fuck, man?
The external surfaces of the anus were cut, but the deeper penetrating injuries were in the vagina, including two wounds that went through the vagina and into the pelvic cavity into her abdomen. Honey also severed the perineum, which you know what that is there. Right, yeah. They have an explanation. I don't need to get what that is. The medical examiner who performed the autopsy said that Ben could have been sexually violated prior to her death, but she couldn't testify for certain. However, whether the injuries to Ben's vagina and anus were inflicted before or after the injuries, or whether the vaginal and anal injuries occurred after death, she couldn't tell anything really, because it all happened in the same in the same minute-long frenzy. So it's impossible to tell really. So this is also Ben's scalp, mouth, buttocks, and thighs were also bruised. Okay. So this was way more than you fell on the knife. This
Sustained
was
beating and stabbing.
An absolute frenzied attack. Yeah. This was all force, anger. I mean, this is brutal.
And the only reason to determine whether or not which one came first is to determine was this torture, was this like afterwards, just like there, now that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he also tried to anally rape her as well, but couldn't get it done. So, you know how that goes. When you're a drunken scumbag like that. So there's all sorts of, this is one of the most horrible things. As maybe some of our listeners out there may be thinking right now, hey, weren't there 3 kids in that fucking house?
Yeah.
Let's talk about those kids here. Those kids were found in the house. They're alive, luckily.
The fuck, man?
That's helpful.
Which is worse?
2 of the 3 children had some blood on them. The other child was covered in blood from head to toe.
Why?
Further, this child was found wearing only a T-shirt, not wearing the underwear she was wearing when her mother left for work.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They eventually found them or whatever. She ended up bleeding there. Yeah. That's horrible. I can't even get into that. But
what a monster.
Yes, they said that the source of these injuries was consistent with fondling or some sort of digital whatever the fuck, and not likely accidental, obviously. So this is getting worse, correct?
Yeah, sure.
So some of the witnesses they talked to that heard things, one Sheila Petzinger from Salt Lake City was staying the night with relatives. She said, I went to bed about midnight. I woke up and heard this really loud cracking noise. I wasn't sure what it was. Then I heard a couple more. First there was one, then there were about 2 or 3 together. It woke me up. I thought maybe a car had backfired. A short time later, I heard the police on a loudspeaker saying, come out with your hands up. One here, Nikki Alder, she said she was traveling here. That's the person we just talked to, his traveling companion, said they saw the police bring Honey from the side yard to the police car. When they were bringing him into the car, he looked up at the sky and shouted, quote, I'll find you again and kill you again.
What?
So no remorse. You're dead now. I'm going to find you up there and re-murder you is what he's saying. Wow. So the exact opposite of remorse. He's angry that she's dead so he can't kill her more.
He's not done yet.
That's insane.
Yeah.
John Kirk, who lives behind this residence, said, quote, about Honey, quote, he was saying all kinds of crazy stuff. He kept repeating, Satan made me do it. Satan made me do it. Satan made me do it. Then screaming to the sky that I'll find you and kill you again. While shirtless and covered in blood, Jimmy. This is a
horrifying moment.
What a horrifying scene. You think it can't get worse, and then 3 blood-covered little children come out of the house, and you're like, what fucking horror movie am I in? Yeah. This is insanity. Kirk here, that neighbor, said that the murder is sure to really shake up this community. It's going to be a little different. He said, I'm sure everyone in the neighborhood is shocked. Hell, I'm shaken. You see this kind of thing on television all the time, then all of a sudden, hell, this is real, right in your own backyard.
You see that on TV all the change the channel, sir.
What shows are you watching?
Jesus Christ.
Now you see that all the time on TV. If
not 98.
Not 98. There was no Investigation Discovery in 98 that just showed constant murder shows. There's just whole channels dedicated to murder now.
But even this scenario is not played out every time. This is heavy.
This is insanity. This is absolutely crazy. This is not normal at all. This is the first murder in Cedar City since 1984. When so it's been almost 15 years since there's been a murder in this town. Right. It's a decent sized town. That was when 3 people were killed by gunfire at the Playhouse, which is a local bar. Yeah. So that was a fight at a bar. That's way different than someone broke in and slaughtered a woman.
Somebody got hustled,
and molested a child,
and they're all nuts anyway.
That's exactly right. No shit. The one guy here, one of the county people, he said, "This has been a bad summer. First barrel, where a man killed his wife and son with a shotgun before turning it on himself.
What the fuck, man?
And now this." He said, "I don't know if this is a bad twist of fate or if Iron County is just joining the rest of the country in violence."
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Please. But they said he doesn't think the numbers indicate a trend. He said, "No, this is not a crime trend. Homicide never is. Homicide is an act of passion or an act of anger." He says that this is all good. This guy, it's not like we're not catching these people and they're running around murdering tons of people. We got the guy. So in his police, he did 3 police interviews, Honey, on the morning of July 10th. And, he admitted he argued. He admitted he threw the thing in. Then later on, he finally, in like the 3rd of the interviews, he said, "Yes, I tried to anally rape her as well. Sure, I did. Yeah. Yeah. Who hasn't? You know, I mean, Jesus Christ, who doesn't try to do that after you kill your girlfriend's mother, right?" So 1999, about a year goes by, and the trial commences. And this is, you think it's been crazy. It's about to get way...
Is it going to come off the rails, James?
This is... Dude, it's nuts. So 1999, the trial starts. The Iron County attorney, Scott Burns... He said that the death here, Ben's death, was, quote, "the worst degradation and humiliation of a human body I've ever seen." That was horrible. It doesn't get much worse than that. He describes to the jury the starting marks on the left side of the neck and how the slashes converged. Everything I described, the cuts in the backbone. Let's see. The medical examiner gets into it in court, quote, "The serrated blade cut Ben's jugular veins, esophagus, her larynx twice, and cut into her backbone 3 times." During this testimony, the jurors had to be excused for a few moments multiple times to collect themselves.
Yeah.
That's a bad sign for you if you're the defendant.
Yeah. You're going, no. Sit down. It's okay. I didn't do this.
If jurors are crying, you're fucked. You are in deep shit.
Yeah.
So 4 jurors, this is even better, 4 of the jurors became physically ill during the trial because of the disturbing physical evidence, the pictures and everything. They're throwing up and crying and having to leave the room. That's not good, man.
Nope.
You are in deep, deep shit. And the death penalty on the table, by the way. Here.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They can't even sit through the description of what you physically did.
Imagine what they think when they look at you.
Right. They can't sit through the physical description of what you did, and then you were going to do something worse.
Worse, yes.
Yeah. You were going to up the ante if you could.
Greater than or worse than, greater than or equal to what you're doing now. This is horrific. You're a monster.
They can't even stomach the thought of what aroused you, evidently, you fucking weirdo.
Oh, my God. And it's not like, this isn't a thing where they caught him 6 months later and he's saying, I don't know what you're talking about. I was over here. This isn't like OJ saying, I was chipping golf balls. I don't know what you're talking about. He came out of the house screaming, "I did it. I stabbed her. Satan wanted her dead. Satan, Satan, Satan." Then looked to the sky
and begged for whatever to be able to kill her more.
"I will find you and kill you again." He said at the sky.
Wow.
This is not, they're looking at you knowing what you did. So this is just, they're just getting madder and madder and madder at you with everything that comes out here. Also the medical examiner said the knife wounds were, as if this needed to be said, definitely not the result of a fall.
Right.
Obviously. She fell on 8 knives all at once in different areas. She probably bled to death very rapidly from the throat cutting, also the medical examiner said. Now, the defense attorneys, they can't really fight the fact that he killed her. There's really, what's he going to do, blame one of the 4-year-olds that's there? Like, there's not a lot to do. He admitted it.
Was covered in blood too, James.
Yeah, that's true. She could have definitely done it. You get a little kid with no pants, they're going to want to kill, obviously. So it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to say, crazy. I didn't do it. So instead, they try to dispute the because there's the first-degree murder. Then it's aggravated by rape charges because he stuck a knife inside of her, and then also attempted to rape her in other ways. So their approach is just to try to not get him the death penalty. They're not going to try to say he's innocent of murder.
And his life in prison.
Yeah, there's no way to say he didn't do the murder. Yeah. There's just no way in the world. Then he made 3 different statements saying he did it. Like, you're fucked. Neighbors saw him come out screaming toward the heavens. Like, he's got to go. This is an open and shut right here. Yeah. So he said the defense attorneys, they instead tried to dispute the rape charges by saying, you ready for this?
Oh, boy.
That Claudia Ben had to have been alive for a rape to have occurred.
No. What? Is that?
Well, I mean, if he cut her throat and she bled out rapidly and she was dead, and the medical examiner said they don't know when the wounds came, before or after, because it was so close. If it happened afterwards, then it's not rape. Then it's just mutilation of a body. That's a totally different thing. That's not an aggravator for a fucking murder. That's not death penalty.
How dare somebody even have that thought?
Can you imagine bringing that up? That's the.
How
I don't even.
Dare you?
I don't even know what to. That's like saying to your job, you showed up a little bit late, and they're like, you're late again, and you're like, listen, don't even worry about the lateness. It's totally cool because I've been stealing from the register, so that's not
negates all of that.
It negates that, right? That's cool. Yeah, no, but I already was stealing, so don't worry about the lateness. The fuck are you talking about?
This is 1999. Jeffrey Dahmer. They have already multiple times in court said the man raped a corpse. It's a thing.
Nope, not in this. Not in Utah. We have 3% alcohol, beer, and rape stops at death. Apparently,
that's unbelievable. Ballsy.
The attorney told jurors that because the knife was found by her head. Now, this was that's what the defense has one thing. Now the prosecution has to come up with a theory as well to say that that's not true to try to counteract this. So their theory is, well, the knife was found by her head. So he probably did the bottom stuff first and then came up to the head and cut her throat. And then there's the knife. Rather than just
thought too.
That's a worse thought. I'd rather she was dead first. But this is like either way, he could have just dropped the knife as he stood up. I mean, it could be anywhere.
Who's to say that he didn't do some throat stuff, go downstairs, and then come back to the throat?
He could have very easily done that. I mean? Very easily, absolutely. So that's the thing. So the only expert to testify regarding whether the mutilation of the genital and anal areas occurred before or after death was the medical examiner we talked about, Maureen Fricke, who performed the autopsy. She testified she could not determine the sequence of the throat injuries and lower body injuries, and that because she acknowledged she could not, quote, tell for certain if the victim was alive or dead when the vaginal injuries occurred, there's insufficient evidence to support the aggravating factor of object rape and aggravated sexual assault. You can't put him on that. That's what the defense is saying. So Dr. Frick's testimony that the stabbing wounds to the victim's anal and vaginal areas could have been caused before she died. In fact, in response to the question, do you know, could the victim have been violated sexually ante-mortem before she died? She responded yes, because she doesn't know either way. So that's how it works. So now in closing, prosecutors discuss, obviously, what a cold-blooded,
horrible,
insane attack this was. Also really brings up the fact that there's 3 small children in the house for this. Right. They found this. 3 small children. This. They heard this. They found this. Not to mention he molested his 4-year-old niece.
Oh my God.
That's disgusting. This man is a disturbing monster. During closing arguments, the county attorney said that he told jurors he, quote, wouldn't apologize for the violent and graphic photographs presented to them as evidence. I'm sorry that made you sick, but I can't apologize that I had to do it. He said that after killing Claudia, he was planning to follow through on threats of killing the children as well. He said that he would kill the mother and kill the 2 nieces and all that. But the guy said, this is the attorney, but, quote, by the grace of God and 3 Cedar City police officers, it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. So he's saying if someone didn't call 911, because they got there like 6 minutes from the 911 call. So from the time of the slamming, he had, which I bet she heard the rock go through the window and then him take the rock to smash out the rest of the glass.
I'll bet you're right.
That's probably what she heard, which would make sense in the night. That's a big loud bang, bang. The frame's going to rattle, the whole thing. So if it wasn't for that, he might have killed everybody. Who knows? I mean, he started molesting one of them. God knows what the fuck he would have done. So the defense here, imagine being this guy's lawyer. Oh, my God.
I would hate everything.
This is such a long day. You're just like, oh, God, I hate this guy so much. And I have to try to make excuses for this shit. So his lawyer, he tells the 10-woman, 2-man jury. That's not good for you either, by the way. This guy's got it all wrong.
Not only is that mountain tall and steep, it's icy, too.
It's icy, too, yeah. It's icy, too, and you have, like, old wrestling shoes on. Yeah. Don't even, like some Asics from 84. And you're like, I got nothing. I got no grip.
Nothing. And you're barehanding this mountain. Holy shit.
I have nothing. And I'm shirtless and covered in blood, so I'm slippery there too. So he tells them during closing arguments that, yes, he committed the crime. Yes, he killed her. It's obvious. I can't hide that from you. He admitted it, for God's sake. It's obvious.
I've tried so many times in my office by myself to try and make this feasible. Can't do it.
Oh, me and my partners, we had a chart. I had a whiteboard up. Trust me, we had arrows going and like pins with strings attached to them. It was a real scene, but we could not come up with a way that it's physically possible he didn't do it.
We couldn't straight-faced pitch that to you. I'm so sorry.
I couldn't. I flunked out of acting school. I really couldn't do it. It's ridiculous. So he said, you should find him guilty for that.
Yeah.
You should. That's not a thing. He said there is no justifications or excuses that could be offered in his defense for the murder. There's nothing. I have nothing that I can offer you. He does say, though, that he said that these, aggravated things, these quote unquote aggravated things that make him death penalty eligible. He goes, that's not. Those aren't. You shouldn't find him guilty of those. Right. You should only find him guilty of the murder and all those other things. That's just not proven.
Yeah.
It's all too murky. We don't know when things happen. Right. Let's just call it a wash and just say murder, done and done.
Because of the murder, there's too much blood to really determine what else happened.
It's too much blood. When there's this much blood, let's just call it. Why sort it out? Why? He's willing to admit he did it. Let's just forget about it. So, in an end to the show, it was a 2-day trial, very, standard. They're just trying to make sure the aggravators get guilty verdicts here. So he is found guilty of murder and everything like that, but he is found not guilty of the child sexual assault somehow, even though he admitted to doing that.
What the fuck?
To hurting a 4-year-old girl to the point of bleeding. But he, I don't know how they didn't. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but they didn't find him guilty of that. I don't understand why. So his sentencing comes around, death penalty on the table. He waives his right to have a jury sentence him, probably because they were throwing up and crying. So
good point. Yeah.
He goes, there was one guy in the room who wasn't throwing up or crying, and that's the judge. The other 12 over here, they didn't seem as resolute as this guy, so I'm picking the judge to maybe.
They really acted like it was the first time they'd heard or seen any of this shit.
I mean, Jesus Christ, how many people have a TV? God damn. You should be watching the shows I'm watching.
Evidently, it's on TV every night.
It's every damn night, according to that guy, so tune in. So he wants the judge to, which this is one of those things, if you don't want an emotional response, you want the judge to do it.
Yeah.
But oftentimes the way you get life instead of the death penalty is by eliciting an emotional response from the jury with your tales of begging and your mitigation and all that sort of thing. Judges, that shit is, they're looking at it very legal. They're looking at your aggravators and your mitigators as a scale, which is higher, whereas the jury can be like, but his little daughter was so cute, I can't have her not have a father, like one juror will think that, maybe.
I've never seen a judge smile unless it was like Judge Judy or Brown or Wapner on TV. You know what I mean? Outside
or
of
the
that,
guy in My Cousin Vinny.
You're not getting any sort of human response that's emotional out of a judge unless they are furious. That's the only one.
Really, unless you wore a leather coat to his courtroom in Alabama, then you're in contempt, buddy.
Tell him, Mr. Munster.
The whole store had the flu. You get that?
Are you making a mockery out of my courtroom? What is that?
There's only one place in this town you could buy a suit. We could buy a new suit.
For you.
I wore this ridiculous thing for you. Are you mocking me? No, Judge, I'm not mocking you.
No, Jesus.
I don't like your attitude. I'm going to hold you in contempt of court. That's a fucking surprise. What was that? What happened? He's like, what did I say?
What did I say?
All right, now that we've done an entire scene for My Cousin Vinny.
He's so good.
It's such a great fucking movie. So, anyway, during sentencing here, Claudia's cousin, because now we're going to get family members testifying, she says, quote, she did things on her own to let the Paiutes know of an alternative way of life to alcohol and drugs. She was a person trying to make a difference. She says that Ben was like her big sister. She said, throughout my life, she's been there with me. She said that Ben could have stayed or gone to work in Arizona as a substance abuse counselor, but she took a lower paying position to come back to be
with the family,
to be with her family, and she wanted to help her own people. She said too. Okay. She said, "quote It hurts so much. We miss her so much. She isn't here for us anymore. She was somebody that we tried to be like." So Ben's grandchildren, by the way, because Ben's mother is going to testify. Okay. She's alive and testifying. She says that they say that the kids are all less than 5 years old. They act differently since seeing their grandmother's bloody, mutilated body. Weird. Isn't that strange? A 4-year-old would see their grandmother butchered and not be the same.
Right.
Strange.
Changes their biology a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. I think that's the plot of Dexter. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about? Jesus Christ. She said the 4-year-old granddaughter prays at night that Honey will stay in jail and that he, quote, won't come to get her. Yeah. This is the one he molested. He killed her grandmother. I mean, he just completely decimated her whole world. This is horrible. What a piece of shit. This kid should be able to fucking kill him. That should be if there's a death penalty, this kid gets to do it, I think, if she wants to. So they also testified that the child gets scared when someone comes to the door and is scared of the dark now. Yeah. She said, quote, it changed her. Jesus, man. The defense, though, they're going to try to save him, and they're going to bring in a shrink. They got a psychologist to talk to him, have an extensive examination of Honey, and her whole thing is she comes up with the evaluation that she feels he's unlikely to commit violent acts in prison.
Okay.
Which I would probably agree. I think he goes after women. I think he's a pussy, probably, more than likely. He's never had any other interaction. So
and probably his nerve is heightened, and brazenness is heightened with alcohol, which is not necessarily given out in prison.
That's the other thing too, is she says any act of violence he's had on record in the past is when he's been highly intoxicated. Mm-hmm. She talks about his childhood, quote, spent in poverty on the Hopi reservation in Arizona, and how he, quote, didn't feel loved.
Same, so pal. I mean,
so you had to stab a woman in the vagina and then molest a 4-year-old. That makes sense.
Never did that.
Oh, geez. Oh, wow. I'm blown away by that. She told of him losing 3 clan grandmas at the vulnerable age of 12. And she said that this was traumatic for a child who felt unattached to his family. She said he always had a sense that when his parents left, they wouldn't come back. Oh, that's wild. She also said that he suffers from anxiety and depression. She said, yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you killed somebody in a bar fight or something, you could say, like, I was going off the deep end, I had a lot of problems. If you you had a cab ride where you could have changed your mind. You had hours
and butchered
between,
a woman.
Yeah. And then molested a kid. There's no excuse for any of this shit. There's just none.
Very little mitigating that you can do to this.
Yeah. She also discussed, the psychologist, that in junior high school, a teacher tried to sodomize him. Okay. And so, so he can kill people now, apparently, right? You have license to kill people now, right? Isn't that true?
By everything he's using to defend himself, fucking, I should have a body count longer than.
You're totally allowed, dude. Yeah,
apparently should be insane.
According to this, this is ridiculous.
I have such a pass.
Fuck. The psychologist also said Honey told her that he, quote, wished he didn't remember what happened the night he murdered her. He really does. He wished he didn't even remember it. He admitted
exist.
Yeah, no shit. He admitted he needs eternal sunshine of the scumbag mind right here. Just reprogram that shit. He admitted to sexually assaulting his 4-year-old niece by fondling her as well, to the psychologist. A jury had found him not guilty of the sexual abuse charge, by the way. That was the exact charge.
That is unbelievable.
Fucking wild. Also, she said that all of Honey's violent episodes, including the murder, were the result of being provoked, fearing separation, and being intoxicated. So, if you provoke this intoxicated man and he feels like someone's going to leave him, he'll kill you. Well, good. Well, let's put him away then, I think. That's a good thing for it. She also said he was ashamed for the incident involving his niece, which he called reprehensible. I don't know what I was thinking there. The murder and the stabbing and that was fine. But this is above the, fuck, man. I don't even know, man. This is beyond the pale here. So he said, also went on to say that, the county attorney comes in and challenges a lot of these conclusions, and asked whether she believes he's remorseful. And the psychologist said she, quote, didn't know what to make of his perceived lack of reaction, because he seems like he's got a very flat affect over the whole thing. He doesn't really react emotionally to like the charges, to his descriptions of shit. He's just very matter of fact about the whole thing. Like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, I guess. The prosecutor also questioned whether he was that poor growing up, because, as he put it, this is amazing. Now, this prosecutor is a. Wait till you hear what he says. He's a fucking jackass. But he said that, how can you say he was poor growing up? His house had a satellite dish, and numerous reservation children enjoyed spending time at the house. So how can you say he's poor? He had TV, and kids liked his house, so not poor. The response from the psychologist was, quote, sometimes the cobbler's children don't have shoes.
What?
I don't know. Did his father make satellite dishes? Is that what he did? Did he sit there with like a hammer and bang out a satellite dish? And I don't understand that one.
I guess he's trying to say like sometimes the chef's kids go hungry. Is that the point? I don't understand.
I think that's the point they're making. But he has a satellite dish, so he's not. That's not. I don't know. Whatever. He could have still been poor. I mean, maybe he knew a guy with a satellite dish.
Yeah, we were poor. We had cable TV. It's because my stepfather was a fat, lazy fuck that never left the couch, and he had to be entertained one way or another.
Well, like I remember my dad always had all the like HBO and shit growing up, because he had a friend who worked for the cable company who would turn he'd just come to the box thing and turn it on, and that was it. That's why we always had it, not because he paid for it or because could afford it. It was just
$39.99, whatever the basic cable was, but we had all the premium shit.
You'd always know somebody, in New York. We always know somebody, especially with us.
$20 is $20. I'll find.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You always know a guy who knows a guy. You can get your car. Those tints are fine. Just come in with the windows rolled down. Don't worry about it. Like, there's always that guy. So I know this from experience. So the family here now testifies. Honey's family, his mother, Teresita Honey, and his aunt Delarita Leslie. He lived with both of them for more than a year as a teenager, and they testified that they couldn't believe he committed the acts described at the trial. Leslie, the aunt, told jurors that Honey writes letters to his cousins telling them about the harmful effects of alcohol and drugs right now. Yeah, that's so now he's good now.
Now there's letters.
She referred to Honey as her son and asked that he be allowed to stay around. Then she requested the judge allow her to hug my son a last time. So a recess was taken, and she was allowed to go in a room and hug him. They took him into a room where she hugged him, and then they went back in the room and resumed court.
I hope he had his handcuffs on. That would be
I hope so, too. He shouldn't be allowed to hug. She wants to hug him, make her feel better, fine, but you don't get to hug, motherfucker. Right. That feels good.
Yeah.
You're not getting that warm feeling of hugging somebody. No, can't have it. Another one of his aunts, Claudia James, she addressed the Ben family who was there, Claudia's family. There was about 30 friends and family members in the courtroom supporting the Ben family because, she was well loved in the area. Yeah. She said to that family, "Your scars will never heal." Then asked that Honey not be put to death, though. She said, "Murder is murder, whether it's the judicial system or a malicious act. From the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry." So, also, his father came out, Honey's father, and said that consider what life would be to a father or to a daughter without a father. He's got a daughter. Okay. Wouldn't you want that daughter to be around this guy who molests 4-year-olds and stabs his mother-in-law? That's a great role model that she needs to grow up with. And then said it doesn't seem to fit for the state to execute the father of a girl who just lost her grandmother. She just lost her, like it was like she fell off a fucking roof or something. He killed her. That's the reason why she's gone. Right. This girl is entitled to have a father to visit with, is what she said, is what the dad said. Then the dad said that his son should be spared, so, quote, he can show everybody that he can change.
No.
Too late. Don't care anymore about his changes. I don't care.
I'm not concerned with what he's capable of later. I know what he's capable of now, and that's too much.
We have seen his peak. He's peaked. This is what he's got.
He can't keep a job at a sand and gravel place. Who gives a fuck what else he can do?
That's what I mean. He can't keep from not killing people as well. So, no. His mother said her son, since he's been arrested, has grown up overnight. Now he's a mature. He was just a kid before. She also said she prays for Ben's family in both the traditional Hopi way and, quote, the white man's way. Okay. She prays both, just in case. You never know. You got to hedge your bets. You don't know who's right here. She said, "I will never believe he did some of the things they said he did." Well, guess what, honey? You can believe it because it's in a fucking medical examiner's report.
It's been 25 years. Hope you can believe it now.
Yeah, you can pray to whatever the fuck you want. It happened. Yeah. So she said, "Nobody will ever convince me." Wow. I'd love to try. I would love, please. I know this woman's hurting. Her son's in jail. I feel bad for her because she didn't kill anybody, but I'll sit you down and convince you. I really will. The medical exam, the pictures didn't convince you. What's going to convince you? The 4-year-old came in and stabbed her, really?
How did Kodak not convince you, lady?
That's what I mean. Made the jury. You see jurors puking? That's convincing.
Convincing enough.
She said, "I raised him to know right from wrong." And then she started crying and said, "Please spare my son." Then they brought Carol in, who was Ben's daughter, his ex-girlfriend. Yeah. You'd think she would want to kill him herself. Right. She said that she would be satisfied if he was sentenced to life without parole, and that she'd rather he not be killed because they have a daughter together. Okay.
She is the most forgiving woman on the planet. That
Carol, this family, from everything they say too, for this family is some really good, nice people. It sounds like they just seem like very together people who have gone through a horrible tragedy and have kept who they are about them. I don't know how to describe it, but they seem like people that I feel for them. That's all. I really do.
He served a 3-month stretch for beating her, and then he murdered her mom and molested her niece. And she is willing to say, "You don't have to kill him." She is a sweetheart of a woman.
That's what I mean. She's a saint, this lady. So the prosecutor, on the other hand, he argued that the death penalty is the appropriate punishment for the crime, rejected the claims, the mitigating factors such as poverty and substance abuse committing to the crime. He says, quote, "It's not like he never had a chance. He's had lots of chances."
Indeed.
He talked about the brutalization as what he called it, of what he did to both Claudia and the granddaughters who saw it, and the niece who he touched. He said they were covered in blood when a police officer, with his gun drawn, carried them from the home following the murder. Wow. They came out to a gun drawn on them because he just heard movement, the police officer, in a bloody scene. So I said, when you're searching around, somebody hiding and injured. So these kids have had so many traumas, it's not even funny. Infinite fucking trauma. He also stressed the importance of, as Ben's role as a substance abuse counselor and how in the community she was very important. Then he says, one of the craziest things a prosecutor's probably ever said in a court of law. This isn't, keep in mind, this is said in 1999, not 1929, not 1889. This is crazy that this is said in court. I'm going to give you the whole end of his speech here. You tell me the crazy parts, because they're right in the middle. He said, the victim and the impact of the crime on the victim's family and community without comparison to other persons or victims. He did not murder a drunken Indian in the park in Cedar City. The look on Jimmie's face just now, his eyes just went, what? You can't say that. He did not murder a drunken Indian in the park in Cedar City. He did not murder a woman who had spent her life drinking alcohol and puking and walking the streets and shoplifting at Walmart.
What?
Oh, my God.
He didn't murder the people that deserve it.
Like those other Indians out there. Those other, the dirty Indians I'm talking about? You see them wandering around just puking and drinking and stealing from the Walmart. You know what I'm talking about.
Shit.
He said that in court.
Oh, my God.
That. I don't know. This is the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard of.
Did he keep going?
Yes, he did. He didn't stop and go, oh, shit, I should retire for good now, because that's crazy. He literally said that. He said he murdered someone that these people look up to.
You know what
these people.
My God, man.
All the drunken, puking Walmart shoplifting. They all look up to her. This is insanity. This is fucking insane.
He wrote this down and then said perfect.
To a court full of people. Most of them natives, by the way. Most of them a Native American family distressed over their loss of their loved one, mind you. Shoplifting and puking and walking the streets. He murdered someone that these people look up to. These people.
The people I see as I drive down the street to this courthouse and look down upon.
Aforementioned dirty Indians that I just said, the puking Walmart stealing ones.
Wow.
He murdered a superstar in the Paiute community, and much like Mr. Husava, that worked hard to get his bachelor's degree and 2-year substance degree and returned to the people, she returned to her people. And the law, not emotion, the law allows for you to take into account who the victim was. And Claudia Ben was a great person in our community and a great person in the Paiute community.
Is it common for people on the reservation to bash people like that?
This is wild. That was wild, man. That was
breathtaking.
This isn't a tribal court either, where it's like, internal. This is a white guy in fucking regular court being like, this fucking drunken Indian. This is crazy.
Did people just sit there with their mouths open going, what? That's how much of a slam dunk this case is. This guy can just throttle out stereotypes.
Just off the cuff racial insults. Just letting them fly like, I don't even care. They can fucking strike that one. They'll still give him the death. I don't give a shit. So this is wild shit. Now, mind you, this is all to the judge, too.
Yeah.
So this... So the judge apparently He was found by the jurors guilty of 5 of 6 of the aggravators, which are object rape, forcible sodomy, aggravated sexual assault, burglary, and aggravated burglary.
How many do you need? One?
You need at least one.
Yeah.
And then they weigh that against mitigators. So the more aggravators, the better for the prosecution, because that'll outweigh the mitigator. So he was found not guilty of the aggravator of sexual abuse of a child. That's the one he was found not guilty of. Now, they ask him, dipshit, you got any statements to make?
Yeah.
And he says, here we go. Here's his speech. It's a long one. I'll give you the whole thing.
Not once did he say, did that prosecutor just call us all drunken Indians?
I think, did he just say that shit for real? The judge will actually address it, though, in his final thing. Okay. He'll like, not address it directly, but he'll definitely, what he says is in reference to what the prosecutor said. Like, to put it on the record that that's not why we're doing any of this.
Yeah. He didn't say something like, I can't believe I just had to listen to that shit.
Hey, dumb fuck, did you just say that? That would have been the greatest. Pardon me, did you just say what I think you just said?
Yeah.
Did you just say, like, a drunken, puking, walking the streets, Walmart, shoplifting, filthy?
Are you
what
Ron
the hell
Burgundy
are you talking
and
about?
just read what's on the teleprompter? What is happening?
Dude, what is your deal? He said, quote, please don't think that I don't have any remorse or sympathy if I don't cry or show how I really feel. It's just that I was taught by tradition that if you are a male, you don't openly cry. During the past couple of days, there's not one moment that went by that I didn't feel like throwing myself on my knees and begging for forgiveness from everyone I hurt. I wish I could go back in time and change a lot of the things, mainly what has happened, but I cannot. What else would you want to change? Mainly what's happened is the bad part. I'm truly, deeply, very sorry for killing Claudia Ben and taking her out of all of your lives. I regret that I have no excuse for my actions. My heart is sad. My soul cries out when I think of what I've done. If I could change it all, I would. Believe me, I would. You all hate me, and I understand. I gave you all reason to. I'd ask you for forgiveness, but right now, all I ask is please don't let the anger and hate you have for me eat you up so much that you're incapable of running your lives. I'm sure you want me dead. Maybe you'll get your wish. Whatever I get, I deserve. Whatever it is, it will not be as bad as what I'll have to carry with me until the day I die. Cain is the name God knows me by now. All of this I am ashamed. Please, Lord, forgive me. I'll pay for what I've done in this world and the next. Keep in mind that not only am I going to pay for killing Ben, but I also want to pay for what I did because I have to. I sentenced my daughter and her cousins to grow up with horrible memories I put in their minds. I just hope as they are growing up, they'll be able to forget them. I hope and pray they do. Mom, Dad, Rita, Maud, I'm sorry I had to drag you all through this. Thank you for not turning your back on me. I love you all very much. To the Paiute community, or Paiute tribe, my apologies for taking the life of an important person to you all. I pray one day you will all forgive me. If not, I understand.
Oh, my.
So, the sentencing judge specifically says, quote, the court's decision is the same on sentencing whether the victim had been a, quote, drunken Indian in the park or a drunken white man in the park or a sober doctor in his office. So he definitely addressed it. Listen, that way you can't just say she's good and not some drunken Indian, because even if it was that, fine, we'd still be sentencing him the same way.
I can't believe you said that in my courtroom, you dick.
Then he said, this is the most difficult decision I've had to reach, he tells the court. He said, it's not a sentence that I'm giving to the defendant. He's earned it.
Ooh.
You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for Mr. Honey here.
What a way to say that.
He's earned it. Yeah, that's saying it. I'm not giving it to him.
Yeah.
I'm just giving him his just dessert. That's all.
Despite that bullshit the prosecutor just rambled, he still earned this.
As he was saying that, he was looking at the prosecutor. Yeah. Whether it was this or that or a sober doctor in his office, dipshit. Good God, you went to law school? No shit. I'm going to hold you in contempt of court.
I wish you'd have been wearing some ridiculous thing to tell me that.
That would have been amazing. This ridiculous thing for you.
For you.
For you. So he said, if this isn't a death penalty case, I don't know what is. He then, obviously, there's an automatic appeal, from that. And the judge said that he, quote, welcomed the appeal and the review of the case, but hopes it's never remanded back to trial. Honey turned to the 30 or so Ben supporters and mouthed, "You got it," to them. Like, there you go. You got what you wanted, which is a prick shit way to do it, too. Then he told his own family, he mouthed sorry as he left the courtroom. Sorry you had to all get dressed up and come here.
Whoops.
One of his aunts responded as he walked away by telling him, quote, "I hope you enjoy your fun." That's what he said to the county attorney. As the county attorney walked out, she said that. "Hope you enjoy your fun." So the Ben's family members filed out, and she said that the Pony's aunt said that she hoped that the Bens could, quote, live with their consciences over this. What?
What do you?
How about your conscience that your nephew killed this lady? You don't seem to be bringing that up very much.
What did they want him in jail for forever and not? Is that what they wanted?
No, they were fine with the death penalty, and his aunt's like, well, I hope you can live with your consciences now, knowing that you pushed for the death penalty and he's going to die. And they're like, whatever.
I mean, what do you want?
Yeah, like they don't care. So this is one of those cases where this is kind of like the case that you would put as far as, like, we've said this many times, neither of us love the death penalty.
It's tough to go down, yeah.
For the reasons of they find people innocent all the time.
Far
they
too much.
Figure out that this person didn't do it. It's not 100% accurate. If it's not 100% accurate, you can't really do it because there's always a chance of fucking up. This is the case that people would use as an example of what if the guy literally runs out of the house, head to toe in blood, saying he did it, screaming toward the sky that he wants to kill her again if he could get his hands on her, goes to the police station, describes everything he fucking did. It's all backed up with physical evidence. Everyone saw it. His fingerprints are everywhere. DNA. He tried to rape her. He stabbed her and fucking molested a child on the way out.
Right.
What if there's all of that? People go, well, can I just hit him with my car? How's that? Maybe the state doesn't do it, but we need to kill this fucking guy. Can I pay like a cellmate to put a pillow over his face at 3 a.m? Like, we want this guy. You want to kill this guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
there's no redemption for that.
That's the thing.
There's no, he'll serve a purpose. There's no purpose for that guy.
We don't like him. I just say maybe me and Jimmie come up with a creative way to just do it ourselves and get the state out of this whole thing. And I don't know, because I don't like the way the state does shit, obviously. So his defense attorney said that, quote, the brutality of the crime was probably the main reason why he got the death penalty. You think?
That's usually
Think so?
What are you saying, man?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, this is crazy. So 2002 is his appeal. His whole case is she was dead when I tried to rape her. What are we talking about?
Okay.
That's his.
So don't use that as an aggravator to kill me. What a wild stance.
He said the jury lacked sufficient evidence to conclude he was guilty of aggravated murder. Specifically, the state failed to offer sufficient expert testimony that the sexual aggravating factors of object rape, forcible sodomy, and aggravated sexual assault occurred before the victim expired. The state counters that regardless of whether the evidence is sufficient regarding the sexual aggravating factors, the conviction may be affirmed based on the uncontested aggravating factors, particularly the burglary and aggravated burglary factors. Okay. The state also argues that whether the victim was alive when he committed the sexually aggravating factors is irrelevant. Now, he claims that there's like I said, a lack of sufficiency of the aggravating factors. So, wow, that's wild, by the way.
That is brave to say out loud. God damn it.
Yeah, that is interesting. Let's just say that. No proof it was still alive. So the justices here said there's nothing in Utah's sexual assault laws that requires the victim to be alive at the time.
Right.
So they don't have to be alive.
Rape's rape, Daddy. That's too much.
So, the guy who handled the appeal said in the end, they said, no, that doesn't work. So they said this opinion will make it easier to get convictions against aggravated murder suspects because they can't say I raped him after they were dead anymore.
Good.
So, the state contends that he intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Claudia Ben while engaging in the commission of or attempt to commit or flight after committing or attempting to commit rape, object rape, forcible sodomy, sexual abuse of a child, aggravated sexual abuse of a child, aggravated sexual assault, aggravated burglary, or burglary. Thus, the state was required to put forth sufficient evidence to support the conclusion that 1, he killed the victim, 2, he did so intentionally or knowingly, and 3, his conduct also falls within the following description we just mentioned. The evidence is not so inconclusive or inherently improbable that reasonable minds must have entertained a reasonable doubt that the defendant satisfied these elements. So obviously, threat to kill the mother and the children, his confession to police officers that he killed her by stabbing her with a knife, without a doubt, was support for all of that shit. So, the state also presented evidence establishing that 6 minutes elapsed between the 911 call and the arrival of police. During the time he attacked the victim, severely beat her, don't forget he bit her hard as well, bit her, slit her throat 4 times, vaginally raped her numerous times with a knife and attempted to commit forcible sodomy on her. The victim could have lost consciousness within 30 seconds of the infliction of the throat wounds and died within a minute. So the state could not definitively state whether the sexual mutilation occurred before or after death, although she testified there was definitely blood pressure present when the wounds were inflicted, which supports the determination that it was probably before or shortly after she died. Regardless of the precise time of the death, the genital injuries were inflicted by the defendant as part of a single continuous assault that resulted in her death. He didn't come back.
Time left over to molest a child.
Time left over to go molest. Think about it, the cops showed up. That's what he was doing.
So fast.
He murdered her that much, and within a minute he was like, well, better go molest a kid, and then went in there and did that. He didn't sit there. Yeah. That's I don't even know what to say there. So he also, in this appeal, he says that his race played an outcome in the case as well. Now, the court does agree that the comments the prosecutor made were, quote, demeaning, offensive, and clearly improper. Obviously, that was the dumbest thing ever said in court.
Yeah.
In open court. But they said there was no indication, and actually an opposite indication, that it affected the judge in any way. The judge actually refuted those remarks and said, don't care who it was, dummy. Yeah. That was a stupid thing to say. So, they said that he just keeps claiming aggravated factors are unsupported, and so that appeal goes nowhere. Yeah. They said yes, but it didn't affect the outcome of the case. So 2005, he appeals again, and this one is on 68 separate claims for post-conviction relief. Mainly the drunken Indian incident. That's the main problem here. So
you can't say that.
No, absolutely not. And I'm only quoting the prosecutor because I don't know how else to say it. So they said, I like the way the court puts it. These comments could reasonably be inferred as pejorative of persons of Native American descent. Comments that are demeaning, offensive, and clearly improper. That said, in imposing sentence, the sentencing judge did not consider these comments or defendant's ethnicity as a factor. The court explained, while not objected to by the defense, the court notes that such a comparison is impermissible under the statute and case law and was not undertaken by the court in reaching its decision. That's when he said, it would have been the same if the victim had been a drunken Indian in the park or a drunken white man in the park or a sober doctor in his office. Each human life is of equal value. Said no matter what the victim's status, it would have been just as painful, traumatic, reprehensible, and would require the same punishment. They said the sentencing judge's handling of the matter, combined with the facts of the case, convinced the court that his sentence was not imposed of a over-the-top fashion here against a particular group of people. First, the language of the prosecutor references the ethnicity of the victim, not the ethnicity of the defendant.
There you go.
They're insulting the victim, not the defendant. Wow.
We're pissing on a grave, not a future one.
Wow. It does not demonstrate discrimination by the sentencing judge. While the statement complained about by the defendant reflects the prosecutor's insensitivity, it does not evidence that the trial judge discriminated against members of the Hopi tribe in sentencing the defendant. Second, even if the prosecutor's statement is read as implying that the defendant's ethnicity should be considered an imposing sentence, the trial judge clearly explained that death was imposed without giving any weight to that whatsoever. The sentence was imposed because of his actions and, in this case, satisfy the elements of aggravated murder, a crime for which death is sentencing is an alternative, so fuck off. Now, mitigating aggravating circumstances here. He's trying to say that there was so many mitigators that they
overlooked them?
They overlooked everything. I mean, he's only 22, which isn't young.
No.
You're 22. No. Sorry, you're in the prime of your life. There's guys that have been in the NBA for 4 years already when you're 22. The fuck out of here. They have max contracts at that age.
There's a little more pressure on LeBron, sir.
Yeah, a little bit. So they said that his use of all this shit. He states that his alleged mental disease, intoxication, or drug impairment did not unduly affect his ability to appreciate the wrongfulness of his actions, is what the court's saying here. They said the trial court clearly considered but gave short shrift to the defendant's youth and other factors such as his remorse and alleged childhood victimization. Consequently, given the apparent weight assigned by the trial judge of these remaining factors, any error in concluding that blah, blah, blah. So, fuck you. Yeah. Keep on keeping on, bitch. So, by the way, Utah, aggravated murder is defined as these are the way it works. Murder was committed by a person who's confined in jail or other correctional institution. So if you kill someone in jail, that's immediately aggravated murder. Didn't know that. Committed incident to one act, scheme, or course or conduct of a criminal episode. So bank robbery or some like a racketeer type of thing. If you kill a truck driver, if you're stealing a truck for a mob boss. The murder knowingly created a great risk of death to a person other than the victim and the murderer. The murder was committed incident to an act, scheme, or course of criminal conduct in which the murderer committed to attempt aggravated robbery. This is the one that we read off to you. The murder was committed incident to one act, scheme, or course of conduct or criminal episode during which the murderer committed the crime of the abuse or desecration of a human body.
Yeah.
So that's an aggravator anyway.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
It doesn't matter.
Even if she was dead,
right,
then you reclassify it then as fucking aggravator number 5 instead of aggravator number 4. Right. Who gives a shit? You're going away. So committed for the purpose of avoiding or preventing arrest. Murder was committed for money. Murder committed or engaged and employed to another person. So you were hired for it or you hired someone else for it. The murderer previously committed or was convicted of aggravated murder. So that's like you're a double winner. Yeah. I'm a double winner. That's a Patreon thing. Previously convicted of specified felonies such as child rape, in the purpose of preventing a witness from testifying, retaliating against witnesses for testifying. If the victim was a local, state, or federal public official, candidate for public office, the victim has been a peace officer, law enforcement officer, all that kind of shit. So, yeah. Also, if the homicide was committed by means of a destructive device, a bomb, an explosive, incendiary device, similar device which was planted, hidden, or concealed in any place, area, dwelling, building, or structure, or was mailed. Wow. So, anyway, there's a few more here, but we won't. One is if the person was held or otherwise detained as a shield or hostage for ransom. They get very specific. If the murderer dismembers, mutilates, or disfigures the victim's body, whether before or after death, in a manner demonstrating the murderer's depravity of mind. Okay.
That's a vague one. I like that one a lot.
That's very vague.
That
covers
if you're just
a sick fuck who likes to cut organs out and throw them in the air.
That one exists here as well, I think. You know,
yeah,
certainly.
Now, up until 2015, for a while there, in Utah, they were doing lethal injection. Yeah. Now, Utah's famous for having the firing squad come back when it came back in, but then they got rid of it, and then they had lethal injection. But in 2015, the firing squad was brought back.
Right.
So you now had a choice of how you wanted to die.
Yeah.
You can opt into that shit. By the way, he chooses the firing squad.
Awesome.
That's what Honey chooses to go down. I'm going firing squad.
I like it.
We covered this in an old Patreon episode, but just for anyone who didn't hear that, let's go over quick what the firing squad actually does.
Yeah.
Standard in many states, this says. 2 rounds must be loaded into each weapon, with one weapon shooting blanks. So rather than only one guy with a bullet, everyone has a bullet except for one of them.
Oh, my God. This is...
That's less. That's almost like I'm 90% sure that I definitely shot the guy, rather than I'm only 10% thinking I might have shot the guy.
How many guys are they lining up? 10?
With one, it just says a target must be. It doesn't say.
Oh my God!
I guess a bunch.
Just one guy has blanks.
Yeah, a target should be placed over the heart of the one being executed. Well, that just makes it like almost like a piñata exercise, like a birthday party.
This is unbelievable, Utah.
There are countdowns and waiting periods, and the last words are supposed to be recorded via audio, then destroyed within 24 hours of the execution. Oh. Why? One can't help but think if information like that were made more public, fewer people would be able to stomach the horror of the death penalty, as this person said in their article. Some believe firing squads are more humane, as lethal injection has been scrutinized due to the high prevalence of botched executions. In that episode, too, we talked about percentages of botched executions for each method. Others argue that firing squads disallow us to be detached from the real matter at hand, the taking of human life. For this reason, some death penalty abolitionists see firing squads as the easiest way of changing public opinion. I don't think so. I think people would go, cool. People are fucking nuts in this country. It's fucking wild, man. But it's not. They're saying it's not a medical procedure. Right. Lethal injection looks like a medical procedure. Right. They're gonna. This looks dirty.
Right.
It's a guy sitting out there getting shot. That shit's.
But
dirty.
It's the firing squad's the least botched, right?
It's the least botched, yeah, because it's a bunch of guys who know how to shoot, aiming fucking rifle shots, rounds at your heart.
Right on the heart.
It's going to work. Mm-hmm. It's definitely going to work. There was a bill proposed to eliminate the firing squad as an option in Utah in 96. In 2004, the legislature removed that as an option to choose the firing squad. And it wasn't retroactive, so 3 inmates that were on death row were grandfathered in if they wanted to keep it. The most recent one was in 2010. Ronnie Lee Gardner, who we've talked about, 49 years old, was the state's 3rd execution by firing squad since they came back in the 70s.
And this is post 9/11.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Utah governor in March of 2015 signed a law restoring the firing squad as a legal method of execution, requiring its use if the state is unable to obtain the necessary lethal injection drugs within 30 days of an execution. They're making it as a backup. Oklahoma did the same thing.
Are you
Oklahoma
serious?
has it. Absolutely, because they can't get these drugs anymore. So Oklahoma has it set as a backup, too. We can't get the drugs. We'll just take them outside and shoot them. Literally.
Oh, my God.
It's fucking interesting. Utah and Nevada are the only states to have ever actually used the firing squad.
Is that right?
Only 2. Now, 2008, he is in court again, and a U.S. District Court judge, Julie Robinson, cut through Honey's request to consider additional evidence in his death penalty appeals, siding with the state, said the court will now proceed and consider and rule on the petition. And basically, it goes back into petition for habeas corpus is one of the few remaining claims, and it's going to take years to litigate that out. So maybe by 2025 they'll have this all settled. There's currently 7 people on Utah's death row. Looks like here. Lethal injection for one, lethal injection. We got firing squad for Honey. What do we got here? It doesn't say what he is. He stabbed an inmate 67 times, this one guy.
Wow.
Oh, that's that asshole, Troy Kell.
That's Troy?
That's that.
Oh, that guy's a fucking
documentary.
Monster. Yeah,
he's a monster.
He's in Utah?
He's in Utah, yeah. He's got the death penalty, so there you go. He's been on death row for 25 years and 140 days.
Yeah.
Tabarone here, Honey's been on death row for 22 years, 220 days.
Wow.
They have a guy on there for 33 years. They have one on for 35 years. Jesus Christ. Firing squad. So we got it was like a couple of lethals and a couple of firings. Troy doesn't say what
seems
he's
like
got.
a guy that would.
Oh, firing squad.
Yeah,
Yep, firing squad.
Absolutely.
Well, it seems like if you're trying to be like cool and tough, like you just put me in the firing squad.
Make a show of it. Yeah, that's that kind of dick. He's an asshole.
He's a fucking douchebag. That's the guy killing people screaming white power.
Right.
Like a fucking lunatic.
Idiot.
On that HBO documentary. Yeah. So if you want to write old Honey a letter here, maybe if you want to do a prisoner dating game, we have for you the address of him at this moment. Tabaron Dave Honey, number 134877, Utah State Prison, Unit A, P.O. Box 250, Draper, Utah, 84020. Just in case you have to write to this guy and, just tell him what a wonderful human being he is. Or that he's a terrible person, he sucks really badly, and that we hate his fucking guts. Either way,
knock
that,
the wall
my
next
friends,
to you and repeat those words to Troy, too.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, tell Troy he sucks, would you? So that, everybody, is Cedar City, Utah.
Wow.
And one hell of a crazy shit case that was, man. Really, really crazy. That was... I don't even know what to make of that. That is just wild. What a...
And the ante upped by the prosecutor to make it even more nuts. To say
that was
dumb you didn't have to say
what?
It. We all
Why
knew.
would you say that?
We all
crazy.
knew enough about him. You didn't have to inflame the situation.
Well, you could say she was a nice person who
Right.
helped people, and you don't have to say she wasn't. What you like. They know. The jury knows. The judge knows who she was. You don't have to say that. He just needed to say like racist shit for some reason. I don't know why.
About people that have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It was very weird, man. So what a strange case. God damn. This case was crazy, and then next week, holy shit, is next week's fucking bonkers.
Right.
I mean, next week's involved an old unsolved mysteries. Oprah was involved. It's crazy, crazy shit, and you've never heard of the case, too.
Good.
That's how crazy it is. It's going to be so much fun, and even I think a Seinfeld episode referenced this as well, I believe, this case, but it's so under the radar. You had to be... You'll find out next week. Keep tuning in and checking it out. Do all of that. In the meantime, throw down a review for your boys over here. Whatever platform you're listening on, please give us 5 stars. Say something nice if you can. If you listen on Spotify, they just started allowing you to rate and review. So please, please do that. It really, really helps us out a lot. And a little holiday treat for us. So thank you if you do that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com today, right now. Right. As soon as you're done listening anyway, but check it out. Go there, get your tickets for all the live shows. Also merchandise, so much T-shirts and things and backpacks and mugs and water things, and it's all there. Leggings, you name it, we have it. Right. Check it out there, shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Also follow us on social media. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, and at Smalltown Murder on Instagram. Give you all the latest updates on anything we're doing, live show stuff from the show, releases of the show, everything like that. And in the new year, everybody, we have some amazing surprises for you in the new year, including even more small town murder. You're going to get more murder, everybody, in the coming year. Yeah. You're going to get more murder. So that's very, very exciting. We'll explain all that to you in a little bit of time, but don't worry. It's there. Get excited. News. Big news coming up in the next month, though, whenever we can announce it. So we're very excited. More murder for everyone. So it's going to be excellent. We can't wait for that. Speaking of more murder, patreon.com/crime and sports. I say more murder because we fucking kill on Patreon. What I mean is our episodes are funny as shit.
Yeah.
They're funny.
Yeah.
You want funny stuff? God damn it, you're not going to get any funnier than our Patreon episodes. I see people posting about it all the time, like, why did I wait this long? I'm crying with these episodes. They're ridiculous because a little bit looser with the structure. We can do episodes kind of outside of the normal subject matter, so we can do lots of crazy shit. Anybody who's $5 or above gets access to every damn thing that we put out Patreon-wise. Right now, there's a whole back catalog there, over 100 episodes you can get caught up on. Everything. Just a nice bingeable amount of episodes there. Deep. you can get into that. And every 2 weeks, we are going to release 2 new episodes, always. Every other week, it'll be one crime and sports and one small town murder. You'll get them both. And even if you don't like crime and sports or aren't interested in sports, they're never like about an athlete doing crimes. They're always some weird thing. Trust us, you'll like it. You'll like it all. Believe me. The crime and sports people like the small town murder bonuses and vice versa. They all like each other's bonuses. So check all that out. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And in addition to all that wonderful stuff, you're also going to get a shout out.
Oh, you bet.
Fuck yes, because we really do appreciate you so much. And to show you that and show you our undying love, Jimmie will mispronounce your name horribly while trying as hard as he can to pronounce it correctly. So that'll be a lot of fun. You can also get a shout out over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Thank you so much to everyone who's done that. And as a matter of fact, let's thank them by thanking them right now. Jimmie, please hit me with the list of people that you would never impugn their entire race in front of a courtroom full of people. Please hit me with them, Jimmie.
This week's executive producers are Kevin Hoyt-all in Portland, Alicia Johnson, Goodwin, and Gabe. Happy New Year. Jen Visconti, Nilu Rafsanjani's around still.
Hey.
I hope she's doing well. She's in San Francisco. She's got to be doing well.
She's great.
She was going to move from there. I don't know if she did. Also, Jordan Bennett, suffering in cold fucking Canada. Jennifer Schaefer, Michaela Jarrett, I think. Nolan Betterman, like Ice-T would say it, I guess, right?
Better man.
Detective
Better Man.
Kirchner.
Hey,
the real one died. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. Corporal Kirchner died?
Yeah, the real Corporal.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know
he died
that.
this weekend.
Oh, wow. He was a big star in Japan, too.
So now we only have one.
Well, you're the one now. Pick up the slack.
Also, Peyton Meadows, Rabbi Shmulovich and his wife Shitta Perlman, Mitch Kumstein, Burgermeister and Meister Burglar. Wait, Burgermeister, Meister Burglar. That's what it is. James Martyr, Larry Butterfast, happy birthday, buddy.
Hey, happy birthday.
Good to have you around. Kimberly Cooey, Joan Arndt, Kayla Lyons, Frank, the South African birdwasher. Happy birthday and Happy New Year. He's a New Year baby.
Oh, well, happy both to you. Happy everything.
Chelsea Carver, Mike Bummunk, Erwin Lopez, Dorte Lenferschnick. What? That can't be a real name. Is it?
Maybe.
Joseph Seipt, Laura Coach, Cockle, I don't know. Catherine Wilczowski, Janice Hill, Erica Tavecchio in Como, Italy. James, I called you Jamie.
Oh, well then.
Why would I do
for that? Appreciate that.
Bree Stewart, Charlie with no last name, Allison with no last name, John Jenkinson, Ralph Freilich, Tammy Covert, Benjamin Swanson, Leanne Finlay, Alana Salmon, Russert, no last name, Emily Grillo, Claudia Lukenbach Bowman, Kaylani Wisdom, Andrew Colkert, Chris Kelly and Chris Riley, Jeremy Clausing, like Santa. Melody Hogan, Modern Viking, Tina Alwyn, Alexander Lee Klein, Joshua Nordman, Brent Chandler, Savannah Steffi, Reese Burns.
Jimmie Whisman.
Jeff, with no last name, Allie Warnham, Ryan Bergen, Vanessa Maria Bello, Becky with no last name, Emily Daniels, Julie Rose, Stephanie Lee, Byron Einerson, Jesus, Annette Boyer, Brooke with no last name, John or Jean Johnson, Joni Knight Viverito, Martha Pickle Keaveney.
Sounds so confused.
This is exhausting. James Ray, Taya Wingert, Tracy Davis, Billy Newman, Theo with no last name, Diana Hedges Mayer, Michael Brumley, Liam McNamara, Jarrett McCoy, Larry Creek, Stephen Perrin, Eddie Nix, Zach Russell, I guess Terrier, Jermaine Jones, Audra with no last name, Cynthia Carriganidis, Paul Lopez, Hannah Brown, Tom S., Noah Jude, Andy Stanford, Aubrey Lynn Shibata, Dane Green, Sarah Culin, Kelly Hodges, Anna Teresa Rodriguez, Latorni Lansden, Jennifer Hancock, Andrea Nelson, Quentin Eldridge, Kristen Butcher, Chris Johnson, Nicholas Jewell, Stephen Adams, Michael Johnson, TJ Hills, Emma Ward, Jeff Shepard. I did it both ways, both times. Jeff Shepard, Michael Molly, Emma Ward, I said that, Mary Patton, Brandon Cole, BK2K, Teresa Rodriguez, Amy McKay, Bethany Scholten, Susie Lalonde, Parth with no last name, Brianna with no last name, Simon Chug, Rebecca Gardner, Megan Condello, Tina Armstrong, Bobby G, Garrett Simpson, Kedrick Patterson, Andrea Mino, Christopher Vinton, Jason Forrest, Margaret Shields, Mackenzie Kelly, Becky Visser, Don Carlton, Izzy Mendez, David Payne, Jess Estes, I know Casco, Kasky? Kai Carlson, Matt Nelson, Nicole Kipker, David with no last name, Kate Benny, Terry Brock, Maggie Ziolkowski, Stephanie Cordova, Amanda with no last name, Andrew Patrick David, L. McComsky, Charlie P. I think it's Charlie M's brother, Charlie P.
Charlie fucking M. You made me pop your fucking eye out. For Charlie
fucking M. Jackie
fucking
Banks,
M.
Stephen Tresp, Brian Smith, Alexander Michael Franson, Daniel Johnson, and all of our patrons. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for what you do for us. Honestly, we cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. And we're sorry about the no Patreon on Christmas. That's the first time in 2 years we've skipped a week, and extenuating circumstances. It was literally Christmas Day. They were coming out, and my grandma died.
They
and I
know,
just didn't.
James. Stop it.
I didn't have it in me. I apologize. But I mean, they pay for it, so it's
Stop it.
We'll give you good ones next time.
Listen,
we
give these people things every 2 weeks, James. Every 2 weeks means sometimes, some months, there's 3 weeks.
That's
of it.
true.
So
That's true.
Calm
That's
the fuck down with your apologies.
Okay,
they're
right.
grateful.
You're right, Jimmy. See, Jimmy sticks up for me always. We stick up for each other viciously. We really do. We really do. I'll break Jimmy's balls. He'll break my balls. But if anyone else attacks Jimmy, I'm like, oh, you mother, don't you dare.
If anybody's upset, take your $5 back. We don't want it anyway.
We'll give you more. Trust us. We got you covered. So what if somebody wants to have you covered? How could they find you out there in the world,
You can
Jimmy?
find me online everywhere that online exists. And you
All
can
sorts
yell
of
at me
the
for
onlineness.
defending James there. You're not going to, because I'll eviscerate you over that. That is one that I'm not going to stand for. But they can Google me and you, the show.
Just Google Small Town Murder and you will find both of us. I assure you. And if you find anybody else, tell us, because we're going to fucking hunt them down. This is our goddamn show.
Yeah.
They're lying to you.
You want this show, you can come take it like Mike Tyson did.
That's right, just like Ron Butler's story, like Gilbert Arenas once said. That's great. If you haven't listened to Crime and Sports, listen to Crime and Sports this week. It's totally different story, and it's wild shit. You're going to love it. It's
and
a lot
the
of fun.
subject co-signed. So
he did.
Karan was.
Dude's a stand-up guy.
Karan agrees.
He fucking is. Dude, as real as it gets, man. So that said, thank you for all your support for this entire year, because next time we talk to you, it's going to be 2022.
Are you that uncle now, James?
Boy. Holy shit.
Are you going to sign off, see you next year?
I will not say that. I'll just say it'll be 2022. So thank you for the year's worth of support.
Thank you.
We appreciate it so much. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.